dream again. Please don't give up on your future.
All of this is being recorded, by the way, which is hilarious.
These are bloopers.
So, hey, everybody. All right. So, welcome to Life Interrupts Us, the podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Wayne, the storyteller. And today, I have next to me, to my left, very, very dear friend of mine. We call her sister. We have known each other over 30 years. I used to do her hair from time to time. That's how far back we go. In the early days when I was thinner. And so my sister Shawneen has so graciously agreed to join us for what will be the closeout episode of season 2 of Life Interrupts Us. Season 2 was focused on the journey of the creators. So we have talked to singers, we've talked to songwriters. A good friend of mine, Taylor Graves, Grammy Award winner, producer. We've talked to dance teachers. Shout out to Nicole Robinson. We talked to the incomparable, immeasurable Merce, king of the underground hip hop, who's my little brother. And we have to Kim Brown. I could shout them all out, but I won't. We've talked to so many people that cover the broad spectrum of creativity for the journey of the creatives. But I would have been remiss if I didn't talk to someone that's from my world or one of my worlds, because I shared in many episodes about how I came from the music world, the author world. Although I didn't talk a whole lot about the author thing, I'll get into that another day. But I did not talk about my hair journey except for going down memory lane to talk about my friend Lee Mack. May he rest in peace. Shout out to Lee Mack, hairstylist / pimp. Yes, all that's true.
Okay.
and so in that episode, actually, that I talked about Lee Mack, and I talked about him and the hair journey I was on, only to tie up the context of my music journey. But in that episode, I had 2 off-camera guests, my beautiful wife, Mika, and my beautiful daughter, Milan. Well, guess what? They're back. And they're going to be chiming in on this conversation that we're going to be having tonight. Shawneen is a veteran of veterans in the hair world. She's been doing hair since she was 11. She didn't have no license then or nothing, but she was doing hair.
And then all up in the shop.
All up in the shop. And she's still doing hair. I don't understand how.
But
My
I got
back's...
but I got a license now.
Yeah, right. You being dirty. she got a license, but I don't understand how she's still doing hair, because hair almost killed my whole back. And so I'm excited to have my sister here today. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but we're going to do a bit of a hybrid, because season 1 was about relationships. And we covered the gamut of relationships. You can imagine it about relationships. We talked about it. Anything from sex to fathers and sons. We covered it all. Best friends to divorce. We talked about it all. But Shawneen is an expert in the area of the journey through relationships, as well as an expert in the journey through the creative. Shawneen is a business owner. She owns a salon. She also has a boutique. She sells clothes and jewelry, always making me take her downtown to pick up stuff. We ain't done that in a while. And so because she was in town on a pop-up, I said, hey, sis, we need to get you on the podcast. She hadn't been over in a while. She spent the weekend with us. So we're going to have a altruistic and transparent conversation about it all. Now, let me say this. Normally, I start each episode with a story. I'm not going to do that this time. Stories today, in this moment, are unnecessary. I actually am going to start with a question, because my daughter, Milan, asked, well, Dad, what are we going to be talking about? And I said, well, we're going to talk about the hair world. We're going to talk about relationships. And we're going to talk about it from the behind the chair perspective, because my wife, my sister, and myself were all hairstylists. and my daughter is a client of a hairstylist. So she's gonna give us even a different perspective from what we get sometimes. So we're gonna talk about it all. And the first thing we need to talk about is, are you single?
Yeah. Yes, I am single. I'm
So
single.
so Shawneen is single.
Haven't always been single.
Hasn't you were married for what, 40 years?
30. 30 years.
Wow, 30
You
years.
making
Wow.
me older and older and older.
Well, you
I've
started
been
doing hair
married
when you
for
was 11. You started dating Rodney when you was 12.
My kids is in their 40s. No.
Yikes.
No, if they see this, they'll be mad. No. Yeah, I was married for 30 years.
Yes,
Mhm.
married for 30 years. Um,
My husband was my boyfriend when I was 12 and he was 13.
talk about middle school sweethearts.
Hmm. Yeah.
Y'all weren't even supposed to be together at 12 years old. Somebody's parents should have said, you
What?
can't have no boyfriend.
His, you know who said that? Reverend Wilson said that. But Reverend Dillon was coming to pick me up, taking me to church over there, made me leave Macedonia. So he was like, "You don't leave no church for no puppy love."
Wait, who
And I
said you
stayed
don't
with
leave church for puppy
Reverend
love?
Wilson
But
because I
Reverend
was
Dillon
going.
said we need another member over here.
Reverend Dillon was coming. He was coming to pick me up, taking me to Greater Ebenezer. And
Wow.
Reverend Wilson was mad, and then we ended up getting married.
Wow. How old were you when you guys got married?
18.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's cool. 18. Wow.
18.
Married for 30 years. Obviously, we've been friends a long time.
Mhm.
And I know your entire family, um, and your husband's family. Um, there's so much history there. Um, her late husband, because he passed, his first cousin is my songwriting partner. Shout out to Rhonda Shane.
Shout
Um,
out to Rhonda.
and the journey and the overlay is so rich with how we know each other, how we've navigated things we've done together, um, and now here we are. You're single. You said something to me and Mika the other day. You said, you said, where are the good single men at that don't need a woman to cook for them? And I said, you mean a man that don't need a mama? Where are
Mhm.
they at? Mika, where they at?
I have no idea.
I really want to know, what do single men that want to be in a relationship, what are they looking for? That's what I really want to know. Are they looking for someone to cook for them and clean and do, household chores? Are they looking for like a friend, a best friend, someone to do stuff with, like a companion, or what are they looking for?
Okay, so obviously I can't answer that for every man,
Yeah.
but in order to answer that, I would actually be rhetorical and ask the question. You have a lot of clients, both here and in Arizona. Some of them are single.
Hmm.
What are they saying about what men they're meeting? And I know every woman's needs and desires are
Yeah,
different,
but
but
I do hear a lot of stories from a lot of women. I hear a lot of like complaints, a lot of thirstiness,
mm,
a lot of settling, because some women
yeah.
will just settle for a man just to have one, and they won't be about nothing. They not looking for nothing, and she ain't looking. He ain't looking for nothing, and she ain't looking for nothing. But
Just some midnight love.
yeah, yeah. I'm I'm curious because I don't hear women being their needs being met, or like them finding, dating a lot of men
Right.
but not finding what they're looking for. And I guess, for women, we kind of look for maybe security, a little bit of security. I know I was looking for security until God told me, I'm your security.
What does that mean? What is
Like, I was
security
just,
in what?
I was worried.
Financial or
Yeah, yes, because I was worried about being a single woman, like being by myself. I was protection, help with the finances and stuff like that, until God assured me, I got you. I've been having you all this time. I was worried about, who's gonna take care of me. But I mean, I do want a companion, or I do want to have a relationship, with someone, but ultimately I'm okay by myself because looking for something or searching for something, it's exhausting. It's
Mm.
exhausting. It's like you just going from person to person, and I just figured, God know what I want. He know what I need. I'm gonna wait for him. But to hear every woman is not in that space. Like I had a lady, I was doing this one lady's hair, and she was just got out of a relationship, and she said, "I just want somebody to hug me," and I was like, I was like,
She lying.
I said,
She
"You
lying.
get your hugs from God." I
She
said,
lying.
"You
She
need to just
lying. She
yeah,
wants
but
somebody to hold her and
she
then
won't.
give it to her. That's what
Yes,
she wants.
that's what
Stop
she
playing. Stop
misses.
lying. You don't
That's
want
what
no
she
hug.
misses.
How
So
long can you hug a nigga anyway?
So then she'll set out looking for somebody to hug her.
Right.
And next thing you know, she be sleeping with somebody and be right back in the same mess she was in before. So
I want to pose a question
Pose it.
because, okay, I said I have no idea. But what I'm finding is that I won't even say that some people's expectations are unrealistic. Some people's expectations are not open.
What does that mean? That's pretty profound. But what does that mean?
A lot of black women say I just it would just be weird to be with somebody from another race.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you know
Okay,
what I mean? I'm
okay.
talking about like
Open to
the
new
statistics
things.
of what's happening with black men.
yeah.
The
Man.
reality of what's happening with black men in our country
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and what the options are. Not saying that some men that have whatever issues black men are boggled down with don't deserve love,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a whole bag to deal with.
Yeah.
You're talking about a man who has not had a relationship with his mom or his dad,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
or
Mhm.
either or both. That's a bag
Yeah.
Yeah.
that a black woman or any woman would have to deal with.
Yeah.
And a
It's
lot
a
of
lot.
women have their own
Yeah, they
issues
got their
with
own
their
bag.
fathers and in prior relationships, and they
Mhm.
carrying a load of stuff in. Now, in my brokenness, I was looking for a whole lot and was entangled in a whole lot of stuff I shouldn't have been
Oh, you
in.
had some entanglements.
Yeah, quite a few, quite a few. And until I got to the point where it actually was a situation that I will not go into because
Sure.
it's all like that. But
Yeah.
I finally came to the realization that I needed to be healed. Like I needed to work on myself.
Okay.
I needed to be comfortable with myself, freeing from trying to get some attention from somebody or whatever I was searching for. And I got quite comfortable with doing things on my own. I went to Africa, went to
Yeah, you
all these
did.
different trips by myself. Yeah. And had a great time. But it was really God showing me that he had me and I was good. So I go back
You didn't
into
wait a minute. You went. I just realized that you went all the way to Africa. Africa got 6 billion black niggas on it, and you didn't find.
they don't
You didn't find not
are
one of
not.
them that said,
okay,
"Shawneen,
this is a
I want to see you."
disclaimer.
They are not black.
They do not they don't wear like deodorant and stuff like that. So I was about to die. And I don't say that because I know it probably sound mean and I don't know who's gonna watch this podcast. So I'm not saying that to be, mean or nothing, but oh my God, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I don't understand when people have accents, it's hard for me to catch on to what they're saying. And I feel stupid saying, what? Like, what did you say? So I'm not good with anybody with an accent because I don't understand what they're saying.
A whole continent.
Yeah,
No.
I did.
No.
I did. Anybody with an accent, even like the who's like Idris. What
He's
is his-
British.
Yeah, so that even that
By
accent,
way of Africa.
I can't even watch a movie with the accent because I'll be like, what? I don't understand what they're saying. So that's my
So see, but you know what? That goes to
That's
what
my
Mika
issue.
said about options.
yeah.
Because there literally are many billions of people on the continent of Africa. And for a lot of single women, now I'm not saying that you do what Monique did in the movie, which was a cool movie, by the way. I like the movie. Fat Chicks, PHAT, pretty hot and thick. And she found an African who was from Africa. Well, he found her, and then she went over there. And I'm not saying that a woman needs to just, okay, if you just absolutely want a black man, then get on a flight and go on over to Africa, because you're guaranteed to find one, and you pretty much are. But that's unrealistic, because you're not gonna go over there and spend a week and find your soulmate.
But and two, it has to be someone that you're going to be attracted to. You're not necessarily attracted to, and I'm not just saying Africans, but I'm saying other races or whatever. But what I was going to say is, when I got back into a healthy position, and I started back, dating or whatever you want to call it. Well, which in my mind I was going to date, because now I want to be, I want to go out, get to know a person, not just jump into bed with them and all that kind of stuff. Get to know them after you done did all the stuff you ain't
Because
supposed
you've
to
known
do.
them then.
Exactly. Then you don't even like them no more.
Right,
But then
was whack.
yeah. And so I remember telling one guy that I had been in a relationship with prior to, then now I'm healed, and it's like, yeah, that's not my interest anymore. If you want to date, we could date. You take me out, we can go out and eat or whatever.
It's too late.
And he was like, that's a fairy tale world. You
Yeah, it's
living
too
in a
late.
fairy tale world.
It's too late.
He was like, and I said, okay, well, if no one wants to take me out, I'll take myself out. I'll go out on my own. I don't have a problem going out by myself.
You will. So when you're standing behind the chair and you're hearing all these other women, because I remember, a lot of my clients weren't married. And I remember always having these conversations, Steve, where the good men at, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When you have clients in your chair that are saying some of the same things you were saying prior to your own healing, what do you tell them? What kind of hope do you give them?
Well, they used to tell me stuff. They used to give me advice.
Okay.
Now that I'm in a different place, I see myself giving them advice. A lot of my clients, a lot of my single clients date online.
Okay.
They do the dating apps and stuff, and a lot of them date multiple guys. So
why are you not doing that? Are you not online?
I'm scared.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Put a pin in that. So my daughter, Milan, how long you been in a relationship with Eduardo?
It'll be 4 years in March.
4 years in March. And you guys met online?
On Bumble.
Bumble. Yeah, I don't, I did a paper once about online dating, and the fastest growing group in online dating are people 65 and older.
Really?
Because people are living longer.
I didn't even see if I knew people's dads on there.
They're getting very single.
Now, I was if I did a dating site, and it has been suggested to me because one of my really, really good friends met her husband, but it was a 50 and older site.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was a time when I was on that Black
Planet? Or
No.
Black People Meet?
Black People Meet. And I just think that a lot of the guys that I just didn't pass the meeting them. I couldn't get past that because one of them went off on me because I didn't give him my real name. I gave him my middle name. Is that not your real name? I was like, dude, like, I'm a single woman. I'm not going to just give you all my information right away. Like, that's not going to happen.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. So, it was like that. The fact that you tripping off of that little bit means I don't want to meet you.
But that's good. See, that's good,
Yeah.
because you can quickly dismiss and move on. So I was having a conversation with a friend that I ran into. I hadn't seen him in a while. He lost his wife a few months ago. Mm-hmm. And when I walked up on him, he was talking to a young lady. He was in the gym, and he was talking to a young lady who was selling like cold pressed juices and natural cleanser juices, that kind of thing. And he was like, "Hey, man," because I hadn't seen him since before his wife died. Mm-hmm. And we dapped it up, hugged him. Hey, man, I'm sorry to hear about your wife, and how you holding up. And he was like, "Man," he said, I'm doing okay. He said, "I was just telling this young lady about my dating life." And it wasn't a shock to me. She hasn't been dead a year, and he's dating. They were married for 25 years.
Yeah.
So a man who's married that long is usually, unless the relationship was so like bonded to where I don't want to live without her,
Mm-hmm.
they're usually ready to jump right back
Right
in.
back in. Mm-hmm.
And so we were talking about his complaints,
Mm-hmm.
and he was listing. It was weird to me because up until this point, I have not heard any men talk about their dating, because usually men are
It's a
they're
million women to one
right,
man.
and
So
men
yeah.
are not single.
Uh-huh.
Either they're dating a whole bunch of people, or they're dating someone serious, or they're married.
Uh-huh.
One of the three.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the first time I had a deep conversation with somebody who's a man who's talking about the struggles of being single, and I was like, wow. I said, well, I guess if I was single, I wouldn't have that problem. But my perspective is different. So he said, well, I met one girl, and he talked about how that didn't go, and he met another one. He said, man, I'm exhausted. I said, well, you got to understand that the ratio is like 6 or 7 to 1, women to men,
But
for black men.
yeah.
But you're gonna have to go through at least 5 of them to even
Yes.
find what you're looking for.
Because he's looking for a wife. And the women that
Maybe.
he are meeting, they're girlfriends.
Yeah, and
They're not
he
wives.
well, and he's a no nonsense guy.
Yeah.
He's a good dude,
Uh-huh.
but he's no nonsense, and
he's used to having a wife.
So
whatever
he's
job
not
she was doing,
right.
he's looking for someone to fill that place. And these women out here are just looking for a man to pay my bills.
Well, and
I'm
not
doing
and
this
even
that,
if, and I don't want to unfairly say he's looking for a wife, because he may not be, but whether he is or not, he's used to having a certain thing for 25 years.
Yes, yes.
Now he got to start all over with the interview
Mhm.
process. But I liken it to the interview process for both men and women. If
Yeah.
you're trying to get a job, and it's harder for us to comprehend it to some degree because we were self-employed for most of our lives, you and I,
Yeah.
and Mika. So I didn't have to interview for a bunch of jobs.
Mhm.
No.
We didn't have to interview to go work at a salon. We just said, hey, you got a booth?
Yeah.
Cool. Can I pay that? Yes, I can pay that.
Yeah.
Then we there.
Yeah.
But in the working world, the corporate world, the world where the man is the man in terms of the boss,
Mhm.
you have to interview and interview and interview and interview
Until you find
sometimes
that right
to
person.
get the right job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with relationships. You have to interview. I think what people need to do is start establishing some interview expectations and guidelines for themselves in the realm of dating. Because what happens is we meet a guy or a girl and we get all deep. And then a month later, like, ugh, he ain't the one. Well, you gave yourself over to him in a week, in a month, what
Mhm.
people give to themselves, give to another person in a year. You downloaded way too much of
Yeah.
yourself, and then you saw all that you saw, and you're like, oh. But if you just,
Sit
and it's
back
hard.
and
It's
collect
hard to
data.
bridle our relations, our
Sit-
emotions.
Sit back and collect data.
Collect the data, yeah. so it's hard to do that because we're so emotion driven a lot of times.
Mhm.
But if you're able to harness your emotions and approach relationships from a cerebral perspective, you start asking questions like, do we fit? Do we have some deeper things in common?
Yeah.
Do we have some connections that are transcendent of looks, taste, and style?
Now things like that come with um, a person that's whole, that's healed. Because if you got some trauma and you got some stuff that you're dealing with, you going straight for what you shouldn't go for. And
Well,
that's how you draw them in. Because I didn't start looking at things like that until after I
sure,
went through that.
Yeah, you
And
healed enough.
now I even look at the guys that I dated prior to or was in situationships prior to and be like, why was I even there? Like, I don't even like him like that. It's because I was looking for some emotional or physical, connection that was gonna make me feel better and
Mhm.
got involved. And then after I was involved and stuck on stupid, I was like, this
Yeah,
this
it took
person
you
is
going,
yeah.
you jumping into the deep end instead
Yeah.
of playing in the shallow end and allowing yourself to see whether the pool is safe or not,
Yeah.
warm or not, smooth surface, and all that.
No,
The pool just
down.
looks
I'm down
it
there
looks
drowning.
good to you. Yeah,
I'm down there
and you know what?
drowning.
That happens a lot when people dive into physical attraction
Mhm,
because the pool just looks so good and it is so hot
mhm.
today. Ooh, look at them muscles. Oh my God. And you jump in and that nigga is a fool. You jumped in the deep end with Ike Turner.
Mhm.
It's like, we were at a show, Christian Johnson, the dude that does the Lord Have Mercy and all that. And
Mhm.
he said, why is it that all black people are now using the word narcissist? We just discovered that word. That word been around for ages, but we just
Just
now
discovered
we
it.
know what it
Everybody a
means.
narcissist.
But that's what happens. We dive into the deep end because we've seen something that looks good to us.
Mhm.
And the next thing we know, we in it underwater.
Yeah.
And I think that people should figure out a way to slow down. And you're right. A
Mhm.
part of it is the healing process. You said something about being whole. I would dare challenge that only to say none of us are completely whole. All of us are all of us who are actively working on ourselves are coming together.
Mhm.
Those of us who are not are falling apart.
Mhm.
But there's always going to be some cracks in us. There's always going to be some fragility that makes us either fall back to old ways or have to battle with old ways and old perspectives and old processes because of we're complex, man.
Yeah.
We're so complex that on our best day we walk out the door saying today is going to be a great day, and then somebody cuts us off and we cuss them out,
Mm,
Mhm.
and then the rest of the day we irritated.
mm.
Or we cuss them out and we say, "Okay, Lord, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that."
Right.
And then you realize it
Right.
and you
One of the
make yourself
two.
just a little bit better that day.
One of the two.
And
One
you
of the
still
two.
working on it.
But from one day to the next, you could be that same person one
Yeah.
day, and then they say,
Yeah.
"This dude flipped us off the other day after he cut us off." I was I was baffled. I was like, "Wait a minute, you cut us off, and then you flipped us off? How does that work?"
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. These are conversations that we explore a lot. I wish I had a panel of guys in here, but a panel of guys would give you five. If I had five guys, you'd get five different perspectives.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My perspective has always been one of look for people that fit your life.
Yeah.
That
And
and
usually when
friendship.
it's two and
Friendship.
usually when it's two people that come together and they have a lot in common, some things are not always going to be,
Yeah.
perfect or whether, but most of the time it's like you guys fit. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not good at this, but you are. And you're not good at this, but I am. That's what
You like this, but I like this, but it's
yeah.
okay.
And we can come together and
Yeah.
make it happen. And that's what you learn when you date someone, when you spend time with someone and you get to know things and stuff. Because I've had situations where a guy will say something to me, I'll be like, "Oh, you're not gonna like me. We ain't gonna get along." Because you saying stuff that's not gonna happen with me.
There it
It's
is.
not gonna happen. Or you meeting a representative. I have a friend, and I hope he don't watch this because he gonna know who I'm talking about. But he was in a
He'll be all
relationship.
right.
He was in a relationship with someone, and all the time talking on the phone. He's a neat person. Like, I mean, his house is
Oh, okay.
spotless.
He's got OCD.
So he met someone, and they talking about it and stuff. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I keep a clean house. I know." They end up moving together. He was
Mm.
like, "She just nasty, leaving
Mm.
plates and stuff on the floor and all."
Not the
Oh
And
first
I
time.
no.
was like, "Okay,
With
so
chicken
you
bones on
basically
them.
you met a representative. She was lying to you."
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, she totally was lying."
Yeah.
Because I said, now for me, I saw how he lived, and I'm not a clean person like that. I can pay a cleaning
You're
lady.
dirty.
I can pay a cleaning lady though to do my
Right.
portion, but I would respect how he is. So if I'm at his house, I'm not gonna leave a plate on the floor because I know it's gonna mess him up. Or I'm not gonna leave a glass on the counter because it's gonna mess him up. I'm gonna respect
Yikes.
how he is.
Well, you
Yikes.
you talked about friendship, and you talked about building a friendship, and what comes out of building a friendship, getting to know somebody and spending a whole lot of
Yeah.
time with them, and then your relationship deepening and transforming into something else other than friendship over the course of time.
Mhm.
And I'll let you tell the story about some of the things that would get on your nerves about me, but you just had to say, I'm gonna let that go.
Philip Sharp Skills Jacobs, from Los Angeles, California, native, born and raised there. I'm a hip hop artist, I'm a leadership speaker, I'm an author. Mainly, I'm a creative, and I'm excited and passionate about entrepreneurship and helping people realize their full God given potential.
So when Mika and I started living together, because we lived together for about, I don't know, what, 6, 8 months before we got married,
Mm-hmm.
I would notice, Jesus, this is insane. She would leave the wet towel from getting out of the shower on the bed. And while I'm an odd clean freak. I do not have OCD. I'm adaptable. I prefer a clean house, but I don't like to give away a lot of energy if all the people around me don't clean. So I just like whatever. I just roll with it. But that was on my bed. And it would make the bedspread
Wet.
wet.
Okay.
And I'm, hey babe, you left your towel. You know, the first couple of times I didn't say nothing. I just got it and, put it back.
Uh-huh.
Then I started noticing, oh, this is a regular thing. This is something that she does.
This is a
I'm like,
choice.
okay. How we want to address this? Baby, can you please stop leaving your, oh, I'm sorry. And you know Mika well.
Mhm.
You and Mika have been sisters for a long time. I have not ever met anyone sweeter in my life. So I know that it's not intentional.
Uh-huh.
I know that it's not malicious. I know that it's not even, oh, she's just sloppy and nasty, because I would spend the night over at Mika's apartment when we were just friends. Her apartment was always clean.
Mhm.
Mika's house, it was always clean. So it wasn't oh, she's just a slop. No. But this wet towel thing, I was like, really? On our bed? Like, for real? And that went on for years. But I can say in the last 5, 6 years or so, I can count on one hand the amount of times that it's happened. But what happened between the the serial amount of times and the cutoff of that was I stopped complaining, because I literally went through a transition, and I probably never said this to you, babe. I went through a transition of feelings in my own self. This is some bullshit. Why does she do this?
Uh-huh.
These are the things I'd be thinking in my head. And I had to literally think about who she was. And go, but dude, I would have these conversations with myself. Like, dude, you know your wife. She's your best friend. You know all about, you know this is not her intention. She's not nasty. Far from it, actually.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we would hire a house cleaner to do stuff, and then Mika would come behind them and clean more because she wasn't satisfied with what they did.
Uh-huh.
But this wet towel thing on the bed was crazy. And I was like, so after a while, I stopped saying anything about it. I would laugh. But I would laugh out loud, because you still don't know this. In my heart, I was still irritated. So my laughter was, I need you to pay attention to the fact that I'm laughing while I'm getting the towel and hanging it up. But the laughter is not, God, why is she doing this? It took me years to transition into, dude, don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
It's small stuff. It's really just is. It's just a towel. It's whatever.
And you can deal with it because at this point you're in love with her.
Well, I
And
mean,
you
I was in
guys-
love with her from the time that we started
Well,
living together,
well,
but still,
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't
I'm
about
saying-
my.
but
It
just
wasn't
like
about
you
me being
said,
in
it
love with
wasn't-
her.
But you said it wasn't malicious. It wasn't
Right.
Now, for somebody that's not in love with a person, and you done got involved with them, and you guys are doing whatever you're doing, and they doing stuff like that. Now, for me, I ain't talking about nobody else.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this nigga getting on my nerves. I can't take it. You
So,
know, it's just
see,
like, I'm done.
So what you're saying is, once I am in love with you, then you can get a pass from some stuff.
Yeah.
And
I
for
feel
me,
like
that was not it, because I was in love with her before I discovered that. It was, I had to literally walk through who she is as a person and be like, bro,
But you were able
don't
to do
hold
that.
it.
But you were able to do that because you are in love with her. If it was somebody that you was not feeling and they was doing stuff like that, and it's just like, this is one thing I can't deal
I don't
with.
know, Shawneen, because all of us have friends that do stuff that we don't like, but we don't stop being their friends because they do that thing that we don't like. That's our friend. So it's
You're
like,
not
I
in
think,
love
I think
with your
that's the
friends.
thing. That's the thing.
that's
though.
our, it's
I
our
think
friend.
I think
about the
relationship wise.
the fact that you've gotten to know
Okay, then let me keep it a buck
the
with
kind of
y'all.
person
If
they are.
I were single and I
Mhm.
had a woman over and she left a wet towel on my bed,
She wouldn't be back.
actually, that's not true. That's why I said, let me keep it a buck with you. It would depend on what kind of night we had.
Oh my
Because
And if that night wasn't
because if
good,
that
she
if,
wouldn't be back,
if,
right?
if that night wasn't good, it wouldn't matter that she left a wet towel on my
Because
bed.
she would be gone.
She'd be gone.
Well,
But if the night was good,
and that's
or
kinda
whatever
like,
it was I was getting out of the night, then it's like, yeah, it might bother me, but those aren't. See, the point I'm making is
My ears
those
hurt
types
every
of
time.
things are not deal breakers. They're not deal breakers for me. Even if they bother me, they're not deal breakers, because I was always struggling with myself with the thing,
mhm.
because I was always having to have the conversation with myself about who she is. It wasn't even about me loving her. It was about who she is.
Yeah.
So, okay, so when I was married before, my second wife, you were there throughout that whole 9 months. And before we got married, we were in counseling with my mom. And this right here was one of the telltale signs that we should have never even gone that far.
Mhm.
Because we would be in counseling like Ali and Frazier, not like Ike and Tina. Just going back head up.
Uh-huh.
And if you make me mad because you've done something disrespectful or said something disrespectful, and I don't know, you can tell me. I don't think I've ever come at you like this. Have I? Where I just cut you down.
No.
I cut her down.
Mhm.
Because in that moment, we're like Ali and Frazier.
Mhm.
I'm what? Da, 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 da. And I am aiming to destroy you.
Mhm.
And my mom, and we were going back and forth like this in a session. And my mama said, she said, guys, wait a minute. I'm like, oh, because we was in it. We was in it. She might well not even been there. We were so in it.
Uh-huh.
She said, first of all, do you all even hear yourself? You fighting like you don't even like each other.
Mm.
She said, Steve, do you intentionally want to do harm to her? I said, no, but
Cynical.
in that moment, I want her to feel this. So
Uh-huh.
kind of yes. But she said, okay, well, do you think that she's intentionally trying to hurt you, trying to destroy you? And I said, well, she said, okay, then that's the point. You guys need to get to a space where you know that whatever you're going through is not intentional.
Mhm.
I'm not intending to hurt you. That didn't work in that relationship,
Mhm.
but it shouldn't have. It wasn't going to, because we were never going to be anything magical or connecting. But with Mika and that towel thing, I those words, even though I didn't call my mom and say, Mama, Mika leaving the towel. I didn't tell anybody that
Mhm.
because it wasn't that big of a deal. But it vexed me. But I was constantly hearing the words of my mama in my ear. Is she intentionally trying to hurt you?
Mhm.
And the answer to that was unequivocally no.
No.
She
Yeah.
wasn't. That's not who she is. Now it might be some nigga that you dating who's just nasty on purpose. And he know you don't like the fact that he leave his wet towel on the bed. And so
he's
what does
still
that
doing
nigga
it.
do? He does it intentionally, but
Yeah.
it lines up with his character. You see him do all kind of saucy stuff intentionally. So I had to fight with myself for a long time because Mika did it for a long time. But I had to continue to tell myself until it no longer mattered. And I said, I started off by the laughing thing, but it was a cynical laugh. It was sarcastic laugh. And then it just became a smile because the smile said to me, I no longer feel anything when I see it. But that took a long time because I had to work through that for myself. It had nothing to do with her.
Well, that's and the towel thing, that's something little. Sometimes
Right.
people do some crazy
Well,
stuff.
If somebody does something crazy, then again, that lines up usually with who they are.
Yeah.
That speaks to character. That's not just, oh, you know, she put her hair in ponytails, but she always leaving rubber bands on the floor. That's that's
well,
nothing.
Going back to the friend that I was talking about with in the relationship, like prior to them coming together, everything he talked about that he wanted or that he liked or how he was, she was being tentative to all that.
She was presenting.
I'm clean. I'm a clean person.
Mhm.
I'm this,
First
I'm
impression.
that. And then when they got together,
It all went away.
And his thing was, I can see if you were eating and had to run out to go to work or something and put your dish in the sink, didn't get a chance to wash it. He said, but she would be at home all day long from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. He come home at 7 p.m. and the plate is still sitting there. She's still in the house. She didn't even try to pick it up.
Right.
You know, so sometimes, and I think that was probably subconsciously being trifling because she was used to doing that and hadn't even realized that she was doing it. And because if she would have been thoughtful of him, she knows that he didn't want that, let me put my plate in the sink.
Well, that's the dance. And a lot of people do it. I've fallen victim to it. People put on a performance to get what they want based on what they know you want.
Yes.
When you tell someone, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I like in a mate, all these different things, they go, oh, okay, okay. I can do that.
Yes. I used to say, I want a godly man. And so then I would have a guy talking about, what's your favorite scripture in the Bible?
Nigga,
like,
please.
Really? This is what we talking about right now?
But you know what? But you know what?
That's what's making you a godly man?
if a man says that, you should hit him back with that. You know what? I would love to tell you, but I would love to hear yours first.
Oh my goodness.
He ain't got one.
He
ain't got one.
He ain't got one.
He ain't got one.
Or he does, and then you guys can have a real conversation about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it has to be had. You get
right.
Transparency.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. But more times than not, people put on the show. Back to the towel, the wet towel. Like I said, I stayed over at Mika's house a lot. I never saw that then, but I can't say that it didn't happen. I wasn't looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't sleep. I slept in Mika's bed once or twice, once with another woman. And then once with Mika.
That's a different show.
But, and once with Mika, but I wasn't sleeping with Mika.
Yeah.
I was in the bed with my friend, but I just stayed the night over there. But I was dating somebody else. But I didn't live with Mika, so I didn't get to see how Mika got down on a regular basis. So I know for certain that she didn't start the wet towel on the bed thing when we got together. That was something that she used to do. You don't just start doing random stuff that you didn't do. That's who she was. I just hadn't seen it as a friend. Even as a friend, there are still things that you don't see when you get into a relationship with someone because it's a different level of intimacy. But the things that matter most, the core of what matters most, are things that you should be looking for in friendship so that if it evolves into something else, you already know those things are there. Yes, when a person says they godly, prove it.
Yeah.
Put it to the test.
Yeah, and it's not what you say to make you godly. It's how you live your life.
Right.
You know, that's kind of
Preach,
stuff.
because
just-
preachers get away with saying it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible
Exactly.
niggas. They get away with it
Um,
all the time.
Yeah. But I
Amen.
think that in getting back to the friendship stuff, that's the best thing when it comes to relationship. You gotta be friends with them. I think that's why me and Rodney last so long. Because it's not like because we had a perfect marriage, but he was my best friend.
Yeah.
He was my best
And
friend.
I understand that. I understand that. I've known you a long time. I wanted more for you in the relationship department than that.
Yeah.
But I
wanted
get
more too.
but I get the other side of that.
Yeah, and
The
when
friendship
we did,
aspect.
and
I
then
get it.
when we did have that little split up, I talked to him every day. We were better friends, not being together
Yeah.
as a married couple, but still as friends. Like I could like literally see something funny and call him and be like, "Oh, let me tell you what happened," and we would bust up laughing. Like he was still my best friend.
So okay, so then let me ask you this. Since you could do that, did it ever would you ever hang up the phone after that moment and go, maybe we can make it work?
No, never. I wanted him to marry the girl at the church, and I could have been a bridesmaid in the wedding.
You had
I
come
was
to the
ready.
realization of
I
what it
said,
really
he
was.
was like, who was going to take, he knew he was sicker than what he was.
Yeah.
And I knew.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know, like, he was like, who's going to take care of me? And I was like, that girl is going to take care of you. She love your stanky draws.
Yeah.
You need to marry her, but he wouldn't even give me a divorce. He was like, I'm not going to,
So you guys never divorced before
We never
before he died?
we never divorced.
Wow. So you are is that a widow or a
I am
widower? I
I'm
don't
a
get that.
widow. The man is the
Widow.
widower. I'm a
Yes.
widow.
You're a widow.
Mhm. And the church
Wow,
is,
you should
and the,
be like in
and
a
the church is
in a
supposed to be
hood,
taking
just
care
like
of the widows. You hear me?
the church does what?
The church is supposed to be taking care of the widows.
They sure are. That's what the scriptures
That's
say.
what the scripture says.
But you know what else it say? That one of his brothers is supposed to come
But
scoop
come
you up.
Yeah, I renege on that one.
Hey, that's a whole nother episode.
We don't want to. Yeah, that's
Woo!
we don't want to go there. I was telling Denitra.
Oh, there's so many things we could go off into with that.
Yeah,
We'd
okay.
be in real trouble.
Okay, so let's come on back.
Let's come back. Let's come back. 'Cause we'd be in real trouble. Even Rhonda would get us over that one. It was like, all right, never mind. I'm not gonna cut none of that, but I'm not gonna say no more.
Yes, let's just stop. Let's stop while we're ahead.
All right, so let's turn a corner. Let's turn a corner
Okay.
because I wanna get my daughter's perspective. Again, you and myself and Mika were all hairstylists. We were all back chair therapists. Milan, what's some of the value that you've found in being in a client stylist relationship with your stylist? Shout out to Monet Robinson.
Hey, Monet.
Shout out Monet. I guess it's been different. I've had a few different stylists since I was kicked out of my dad's chair because my hair got too long. Like, what was I supposed to do about that?
I understand.
And then my lovely stepmother decided to, not be a hairstylist anymore and go be a teacher. Like, what? Then I was kicked to the curb. But it's been different with different stylists. The two that I had before, I didn't share much with them because I didn't feel the connection or the comfortability to share things with them about my personal life. It was more of a business transaction of oh girl, what'd you do this weekend? Blah, 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 blah. The second one a little bit more because she was older. And she had been doing hair for a long time and she had daughters that were my age. So it was a little bit more, but it was still like, you do my mom's hair. So
Yeah.
I don't
Can't say too
Only
much.
only no snitches.
Can't say too much.
Your daughter is out there doing it.
So when I started going to Monet, because she's known me for a very long time, it was like auntie cousin vibes. So I could tell her anything, and she's told me stuff. And it's
So who's
like,
the auntie? She's the auntie? Okay.
Well, because she's not that much older than you.
Which is why I said auntie cousin. Like it's
Yeah.
like she's an auntie. Like I call her
Okay,
auntie, but
okay.
like we're like cousins. It's,
Okay.
black people stuff. So, so it's like having another therapist. She is another person who knows my family dynamic, I don't have to start over. I don't have to explain a whole lot of stuff. I can just be like, boom, this what happened. We went on this thing and it was like this and this happened and blah 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 blah. And she be like, oh girl, like I understand because I know so and so and blah 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 blah. But it's not like we're like, oh, I gotta, and you know, because she knows the dynamic of my family, she's not trash talking anybody. She knows where I'm coming from. Whereas if I told those things to somebody else, I might have to tell it in a different way so that it doesn't seem like here's your opportunity to bash my family. Because that's where
that's what
I've
people take
heard
advantage of that type of stuff.
in
Yeah.
the shop. I've heard that where it's like, oh, somebody's like, oh, I have a new client coming, and then they start talking, and then it's like, oh, ooh, like you kind of just trash talk that girl family, but like she let you do that. So so it's kind of like having another voice, like an older sister, because I don't have one.
Well, what kind of romance advice have you sought from Monet, if any?
I don't necessarily remember or can think about a time where I've asked for relationship advice or romance advice, because still for me, I can't be telling all my business in a shop where other people can hear me. I know I talk loud and everybody's chair is close. And the people that are in chairs with her, like I trust them, but they don't need to know my life and my situations. So we'll have conversations like that when it's like she braided my hair at 10 p.m. because Lord knows every time. But it's more of I'm sharing an experience that I've had, and she might share something with me that's like, okay, I can see it. Usually by the time it's getting to her, when I don't have braids, I see her every week. When I have braids, I see her every 4 to 6 weeks. So usually by the time something big and juicy is getting to her, I've already talked about it to my other friends. So I'm coming to her with the full picture of like, okay, here's what happened. Here's how I've reflected on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's how we're moving forward. And then she can be like, yeah, girl, you was wrong. Or like, yep, okay, I see where you were coming from. But it's not always like, okay, so here's boom, 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 boom. Usually it's a swap of experiences to where then we're both like, okay, like it's a mutual thing. It's not necessarily like I'm going like, okay, this will happen. Can you tell me what to do?
I get it. That's cool though. I mean, because you know, she's probably got other clients that she has to do different things for, and every client is different. Every client that I had didn't need me to counsel them. You know, some of them were pretty straight in terms of their life. They was headed in good directions, or some of them were very
just want you
private.
to listen. Some of them want you to listen.
Yeah,
they
they don't
want
want you to say nothing.
They want to tell all their business. My issue was not only was I the hairstylist, get to hear all the problems, I also was the first lady. So I was a lot of their spiritual mothers or big sisters or whatever. So I got a lot of that. And then after my marriage, I was still getting first lady.
You gonna always be my first lady.
Yes, exactly what they would say. But they wanted to come. I think a lot of people wanted to come and sit in my chair, not necessarily to get their hair done.
Of course.
But to release, to talk, to get advice. I even have some young girls, like, but then I have, you know, my daughter's age that come and, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And how would you do this? And how would you do that? So I do do a lot of counseling. I probably should seek a degree or some type of certificate or something, because I do a lot of counseling. Now I do a lot of telling the truth too. Like, you need to stop being a hoe. I'm not a hoe. Are you sleeping with every man you meet? Oh yeah, I guess that would be a hoe. You know, like, you know, a lot of people won't tell. A lot of people won't. I mean, a lot of people don't just keep it real like that. And I'm like, I just feel like a duty to keep it real.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things that, you know, as we were having this conversation about the journey of the creatives, that's one of the things that started extinguishing my fire. I was tired of hearing people's circular problems. It's like, how many times we gonna talk about this?
I'll be here.
And I'm not telling you that you have to take my advice, but since you're seeking my advice
Mhm.
and I give it to you and it's sound advice, take it, go fix your stuff, and let's come back and talk about something else.
Yeah,
Well,
you
sometimes
said,
I
I'm
have.
sorry,
Oh,
you said circular, not secular.
Right,
Because some people
circular.
might, yeah,
They
talking
they
about
just
just
they're on
come
the
around saying the
merry-go-round. It's like
same thing.
cycles.
it's
Yeah.
3 years now.
I get that a lot. The same story I heard the last week. To be the same, and I listen. I might offer a little nugget here and there, but I think people like that just want to talk.
See, and that's when I'm like, go get you a therapist. Because also sitting in the shop, and everybody who knows me knows I got an ear for everything. I'm nosy. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna stop talking so I can listen. But it's like when I go and it's like, oh, this person is here again. Well, I just saw you 5 weeks ago. You talking about the
Same
same thing.
thing.
I don't want to hear you talking about the same thing after I've heard the advice you've been given. You've chosen not to take it. Shut up. Talk about something else.
And that's one of the reasons why I would sometimes intentionally, when certain clients would walk through the door or get ready to sit in my chair, I would get on the phone. I'll start having a conversation with somebody while I'm doing it here because I don't want to talk to you.
I got a couple of people that I got this one client in California. Denitra does her lashes, and she'd be like, "Mama, you gonna be there? I don't want to be in the shop with her by myself." Cause she talks as if every single thing she says is right.
Oh yeah, okay.
Everything that she says is right, and you better do it.
Yeah.
And I just be like, that's not true. And I got into an argument with her one day. I was like, that's not true. Like, whatever you saying, like, that's your opinion. That's not the. One time she told me I needed to sell my mama's house because that was my nest egg. I was like, what? Yeah, you need to sell her house and just buy another house. And that is my mama's house. How am I going to sell my mama's house?
Is she insinuating that you should kill your mama?
Because when her mother passed, she sold her mama's house and she came
Operative
up on a whole lot
words,
of money.
her mama passed.
Yes. So look, 5 minutes after she said that, my mama walked in. I said, "Mama."
Oh, you
She
busted
ain't
her
go that
out?
way. Ruby said, "I need to sell your house." My mama said, "I like my house.
She don't know your mama.
Girl, Ruby ain't said nothing else. I was like, yeah, she talks like that. Like what she says goes, but it's just her. She don't have no kids. It's just her and her husband. And I feel like when she comes to the shop, that is her time to get everything off her chest that she can't talk. And she talks like she falls out with her friends because she's like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes in there and she just and so I told Denitra, I said, this is the way you deal with someone like that. You just listen. And you just take what you can take that makes sense and you just dish out what you can.
Nope, I'm putting my earpiece on and I'm making a phone call as soon as it's time for her. Let me.
Denitra
Come
be
on,
like,
come on, sit down.
Denitra be like,
And
you just
click.
mean.
Hey,
You
what's
evil.
going on? What's going on? And they turn around. I'm like, no. On the phone. Oh, okay. I don't want to talk to you. I knew it was time for me to start wrapping it up when there were clients who would come in and that if it weren't for the money, I'd be like, I was already known for firing clients. You know, most hairstylists don't do that. I would fire clients like me and you can't work no more.
Yeah,
Just
I
go.
had to do that before.
And so
yeah.
it's like I was at a point where certain people walk through the door and I'm like, now what I should have been doing was just saying, Lord, thank you that you continue to meet the need. But I'm not. I wouldn't be keeping it real if I said that.
Yeah.
That's not how what I felt. Some people got on my nerves.
Yeah.
And then it started to be where more and more of the people got on my nerves.
Because you was ready to.
Oh, so ready. I was so ready.
If I found something that I could really do to make as much money as I make doing hair, that I can do in a whole nother arena, I would do it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I just don't have the. I just don't want to do nothing else. You know,
Sure.
like I really literally still enjoy doing hair.
Yeah, I stopped enjoying hair 10 years prior.
Yeah,
to
I still enjoy doing hair, and I still like that I can go to work and I can say, oh, I need to make this amount of money, and I can make that amount of money.
Yeah.
You know, or I need this amount of money for the week, and I will call a person and be like, girl, you ain't been in here, and I'm going out of town. You need to get in, and I can make my. So I don't, because I've never had any other kind of job.
Mika, have you ever taken a position where you were like, I need to make $500 today. Let me go out and see how I can get this today.
No, I think I kind of just went with the flow
Hmm.
and took care of my clients and got to a point where I just trusted God to provide, literally, like never, you know.
Yeah.
And
What's
then when it wasn't like that anymore, because you remember how I was, and I took things like way too personal. So I knew that when it started getting that way, that it was time for me to start transitioning. And then God opened up doors for me to be able to, He sent people into my life to let me know that I'd be good at doing something different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, literally opened up every single
Yeah, he hooked you up
hallway and door for me to walk down and walk through. All I had to do was get bold enough
to do
to
like
do
this.
it. And I did it.
Yeah.
Because the hair thing, it was getting like way too personal for me.
But
Like,
you
when
had
people
other
would
jobs
do me.
besides doing hair, though,
No,
right?
I'm your same story.
Oh,
I never
okay.
worked in retail. I never did anything else. I started doing hair when I was in my early 20s.
Oh,
Not,
okay.
I mean, I was doing it before then. Like,
At the
I would
house and
turn
stuff.
my living room would be the salon after
Mm-hmm.
school and doing everybody's hair like that. But then I went to hair school and started like right away.
She just
Like,
didn't have
as
no
soon as
luggage.
I got
She didn't have no kids.
no,
She
yeah,
didn't have no bills that carried over like car notes and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he just created a path, and I walked in those directions that I was supposed to walk in, and was able to transition into becoming a teacher.
Cap Clothing, aka Cap LA, aka Knowledge and Persistence. Established in 2018, Cap is a clothing company based out of the Los Angeles, California area.
Now I do think that I have you already know I have a billion ideas.
Sure,
I know I
sure.
very seldom follow through with any of them,
That's all
but I
right.
feel like if I was bold enough, like you
Mhm,
said,
mhm.
and consistent enough to follow through with some of the things that I thought of or that I want to do,
Yeah.
and I could transition into something else.
Mhm.
But I don't see myself making money right away either on
Yeah,
some of those
yeah.
things, and I still got to pay the bills. And now that's my driving force, was taking care of my family.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
Well,
family of
you've
5,
always
and
been doing that.
we never skipped a beat.
Yeah, you've
We
always
never
been
went
doing that.
without. So I just
Let's see. I used to watch. I used to watch even when Mika and I were just co-workers. I used to watch clients bully her, and that used to piss me off. She'd say, "I'm going to go up on my prices," and she had this one client. I couldn't stand her. I couldn't stand Carolyn, and I put the name out there. I could not
Okay.
stand
I was
her.
like,
have to do
"Oh, is
that.
she watching?
This chick
Is she
was
Half.
she was oh. And I remember one time Mika told her that she was going up on her prices, and she said, "Oh, I'm not gonna be able to do that. No, I need my price to stay the same." And I overheard it, and I wanted so badly to just jump in it, but I said, "Don't do, dude. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just be cool. Be cool." Because I couldn't stand her, and I couldn't stand how she would come at Mika like, "You work for me." Oh, nigga, I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
And I'd be in the background like, "Yeah, Mika going up on them prices. That's awesome." I needling her because I didn't like her. I didn't like her. But the business was great until it wasn't.
Yeah. I had clients bully me like that in the beginning. I learned how to stand up for myself.
Yeah,
Because
that's crazy.
I would like let people talk to me any kind of way. I would work. I remember my first week working, I was working till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, people would come in at 9 o'clock and want a full take down the weed, put a weed back up, and oh, I gotta get my hair done. And I'd be like, yeah, you let somebody come up in there now talk about, like, girl, I'm about to go home. I don't care what you can't give me. They come in showing me pictures. I don't do that. I have to speak up for myself because nobody else will.
Yeah.
But yeah, people will try to take advantage of you. Want to get a whole lot done for a little bit of money, and it's like my clients know how much you charge? That's $500. Like $500? Yeah, that mean I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, so if I'm gonna do it, you're
It's
gonna
gonna
pay
be
for it.
$500. Yeah.
See,
Yeah, people will take advantage of you.
I don't miss it. I don't miss nothing about it. We'll see somebody with a nice haircut or whatever, because after a while all I would do is short hair. And we're like, oh, that's a nice cut. And Mickey would be like, you miss it? Hell no. I don't miss 1 ounce of it.
Now, see, with me, I see somebody with a nice haircut, I'll be like, ooh, I want to do that. Like I want to recreate that, or I see somebody with, some stuff going on, and I'll be like, ooh, I just want to fix them. I like making a person feel good about themselves. I can't say a woman because I got a couple men clients too.
That's good.
Sorry, y'all. We laughing
That's
at
an
the
inside-
we laughing at
that's
the
an
inside joke.
It's for everyone.
But I love to especially someone that's just like, hair is just messed up or something, and just creating something to make them feel good about themselves. I love that feeling.
You want to hear something crazy? And I've never thought about this until now. I did hair professionally for 33 years. And I don't remember a single time where I thought, I want to make her feel better. For me, it was always about the art and the money.
Yeah.
And that's it. I wanted it to look good, so it would be a reflection of me.
Yes.
I didn't care if they had a steam afterwards or not. And I've heard plenty of hairstylists say, I love making people feel beautiful. I never thought about that. It's like, wow, how sad for me.
And I was like, yeah,
Right. It's like, he never cared.
I feel like I was in the middle. I cared about how people wanted to feel, but I wanted it to be mutual. I wanted the level of care that I put into it, and the feeling that I had with wanting you to be pleased and wanting you to love your hair and feel good about it. I wanted you to show that same level of appreciation for my art.
You're so tender.
And my gift.
That's why I loved you. You're so tender.
And when they didn't,
you get mad.
I took it personal.
This is the one person you do not want to make this nigga mad right here.
It was passive aggressive. It was totally passive aggressive because there was no middle ground. Okay. Either I was really sweet and I'm giving you my price and this is how much it is. If you sit in my chair and tell me, like, I just had some crazy stuff happen. Like, for people to sit in my chair and let me do their hair and make it beautiful and say, oh, I love it. Can I pay you tomorrow? Hell no.
Yeah. I had that happen a couple times, and I said, you should have came tomorrow and got your hair done.
Yeah, but it was like way like where I wanted to like go get a cup of water.
Yeah.
And pour it on my hairstyle and take it back.
Yeah,
I people taking advantage of you.
I only had that happen once, and it's this is a storytelling podcast, and the person, I had done their hair for a photo shoot for a magazine, and she loved what I did. It was a spiked ponytail, Detroit look back in the early 90s or mid 90s. Yeah, way before you, baby. And she loved it. So when she came back for her next appointment, she wanted that same style again. Okay, whatever. So I did it. And when I got done, she hit me with, thank you. I said, oh, you're welcome. And then I got ready. My next client sat in the chair, and it was so funny because my next client was in between one of them little baby bobs and wanting to take it down just a little bit. So I'm cutting her hair, and this girl named is Wanda, because I don't have no problem calling people's name Wanda. I mean, if I could talk about my run-ins with Fred Hammond, then I could certainly talk about Wanda. And she said, all right, I'll see you next week. I said, oh, okay, all right. And so I'm cutting Deborah's hair, and she started walking away, like walking up. That was my first shop, the one that went downstairs. I said, hey, Wanda, you forgetting something, baby? And she said, what? I said, you forgetting to pay me. I'm cutting Deborah's hair. I'm not even tripping. People do that. It happens. And she said, well, technically, this should be free because I modeled for you.
No, baby.
Nigga, what? And I said to her, I started laughing, and Deborah was looking like, uh-oh. And I'm still cutting. And I said, Wanda, baby, the hairstyle that you got for modeling was free. This is business. So you got your hairstyle. I said, how long did you wear that style? 2 weeks? I said, exactly. I said, if you hadn't had that modeling opportunity, you would have come in for that appointment and you would have paid me then too. So you already got in the free one. Girl, come on, give me my money and go and get out of here. I'm cool still, but I'm still cutting. I'm cutting. Well, I just think that it should be free today. And Deborah's kind of looking like, and I said, Wanda, I'm not even looking at her because I'm trying to focus on this haircut. I said, Wanda, give me my money, baby, and go on, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. I just don't think I should have to pay you. I said, and I didn't stop cutting. I was still cutting when my temperature changed. And I said, Wanda, give me my money right now, or I'm going to put you out. I'm going to call the police, and you will never be able to come back in my shop again. You wouldn't even be able to come in here and let nobody else do your hair. Oh, I'm a lady, and you just taking it too far. I said, what are you talking about? I said, if you were a lady, you would do good business with me. You got your hair done for free as a model. Now we're back to regular business. I said, but aside that, if you wanted it done for free, you should have brought that up before I did it. And then I would have told you then what I'm telling you now. So, but now you robbing me. I'm not no thief. I'm a lady. She kept saying that I'm a lady, but I'm still cutting Deborah's hair.
A lady thief.
And I'm cutting, and I am on 10. And I said, Wanda, let me tell you right now, if I were a female stylist, I would take you outside and beat the brakes off your ass. I said, but since I'm not, are you threatening me? I said, absolutely not, because I'm not a lady. If I were a lady, I wouldn't be threatening you. I would have whooped your tail and taken my money out of your purse. I said, but since I'm a man, I'm telling you now, give me my money. And we're done. You can never come back here, but give me my money. I just ain't. I tell you what, I'll give you a portion of. I said, get out, get your ass out of my shop. But I'm still cutting Deborah's hair.
I would have moved if I was Deborah. I would have moved. I'd been like,
Wanda is still standing at the stairs, trying to. And here's what I don't get. Now she's still trying to plead her case for getting it done for free, and I didn't put her out now. And finally, I said, I don't even want your money. I said, Wanda, you know what? Your money ain't no good now, even if you gave it to me. I would tear it. Yeah, oh, you don't want this? I said, first of all, that ain't even what you owe me. You owe me full. You trying to give me half. I said, if you hand me that money, I'm going to tear it up into pieces right in front of you. Get your ass out my shop now. But I'm still cutting. And I can't believe, Deborah, can you believe he coming to me like this? And Deborah looked and just said, I'm not in that. And I said, Wanda, get out. I'm not going to tell you again. Because if I tell you again, I'm calling the police. I said, and you know what? You might be a woman, but you're a black woman. They would love to drag your black ass right out of here. So get out of my shop and don't ever, ever, ever come back. Period. So she, fine, I'm leaving. She leaves. And then I look in the mirror. Deborah said, Steve, you cut my hair too short. I said, I'm sorry. I said, just so that we're clear, this one's on me. Don't even worry about it. But it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to her because from that point on, she rocked it that way and she loved it. But we would laugh about it like, wow, this was an accident. But remind me never to cross you because I turned into a different person.
Yeah, because I would have been like, hold up, get up, get done with this. I'm going to move.
That girl, even after weeks later, because Deborah's friend was the person who I also did. She's the one that referred Wanda. They worked together. So Deborah called her and told her what happened. And she called me and said, Steve, I am so sorry. I cannot believe I'm gonna talk to her. I said, you ain't gotta say nothing to her. But then weeks later, she called me, guess who wanna call you for an appointment? I said, tell her don't even bother to dial my number. I said, because I might pay some woman to come up here and beat her to death. So no. It was, I don't miss. I have a lot of stories to tell, but I don't miss 1 ounce of it. I almost feel like I was never a hairstylist. It's the weirdest thing. I feel so disconnected. Like I got friends, I'll go stop by their shop, shout out to my homegirl Brashay. When I'm in the neighborhood, I'll stop by her shop and see her. I don't walk in there and go, oh, that smell.
I think maybe it's because me and Shawneen's stories are different than yours. The way you started doing hair is way different than when we started. Well, you weren't doing hair at somebody's house before cosmetology school, and then finding out that you had this gift, and you're like, oh, what am I going to do with this? And you're doing it, and then you go to cosmetology school. You literally had somebody say, I enrolled you in school.
Yeah, like what?
In hair school.
For what? I'm not doing that.
So you just discovered that you had this amazing gift.
I was good.
Just like that.
That boy was bad.
And just started doing it and got connected to what it could do for you. Like all the lovely women that you met in your chair and all the other
What are you talking about?
Some women, because of their low self-esteem, will let a man do anything to their hair. Y'all can shave them bald and put one curl bump right here, and they be like, ooh, this is nice. We're like, girl, you looking fool.
Well, I didn't make nobody look like no fool. There was this one time, no. But you're right. Like I said, oddly enough, I remember all of the adventures. But that's how my mind works. I remember all the stories, all the moments. But I don't. It's almost like I'm looking at someone else's life when I look back and reflect on. Because I don't even, nothing about me now feels like a hairstylist. And yes, I still have 2 friends who I cut their hair, every now and then.
But you do that because you like them.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
If I stop doing, if they both call me and say, "Hey, Steve, you know what? We love you, but we found somebody. We're gonna," I'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool." And they're friends, so I would still see them.
Yeah.
But I don't feel connected to it at all. Not 1 ounce.
I have some of the sweetest moments with my clients. I have some that are hell raisers.
Sure.
And I have figured out how to deal with them.
Well, you want that money.
They're good clients.
And you still want that money.
But they're decent people, and sometimes you just gotta get them straight. Like Ruby, we had to get Ruby straight on a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I had a moment one time. I have a client. She's been coming to me since the beginning in Arizona, so over 20 years. And she's an older lady. She's 80, but she's a beautiful woman. She's one of the mothers at one of Pilgrim Rest, one of the churches out there. And she's a beautiful woman. And she comes every week. Arizona,
I like that every week, man.
Arizona don't have a lot of weekly clients. I do a lot of every week clients, every 2 weeks. And once a month clients.
Lord.
Not like out here. My clients here were every week.
Right.
But anyway, she's a once a week client. And one day she had been going through some stuff. Her son was sick. Then after her son got out the hospital, her daughter went into the hospital. And one day she came in and she was wearing her hair black, but now she's gone all gray. And she just came in one day and she was just like, I don't like my hair. She was like, I want you to cut it. Just cut it off. And I call it Sister Barnes. I said, I'm not going to cut your hair off because you ain't going to like it. And she said, well, do something. I want some color. Give me some color. I said, I'm not giving you no color. That white hair is beautiful on you. And she's just going on. And I said, it's not your hair. I said, you just going through something. And I went and hugged her and she broke down crying. Yeah. And I just hugged her and me and Denitra, we'll go praying and everything, so we just had that moment with her. And after she cried and got it out, she just, okay, just do my hair. I'm not going to complain. Because sometimes I'd be like, you complaining and I got some women that don't have no hair. Cause she'd be like, my hair's so thin at the top. I said, I'm gonna show you somebody that don't have no hair. You gotta be grateful for that little hair. So she'll come in and she'll be like, I'm not gonna complain. But I've had some really like that with her, she's like one of my favorite clients. And I mean, we done prayed, we done preached to each other. We just have some beautiful,
Yeah,
it's a
sure.
beautiful moment every time she comes in there. And that's the type of, like relationships with my clients that makes me love this,
Yeah.
makes me love doing this.
Have you ever had a client that wouldn't give your card out or refer anybody because
they
they
don't
didn't
want
want
no-
anybody's hair to look like yours?
I have several clients like that.
Now let me tell you, so hair is also what turned around my whole life, because when I first started doing hair, I was living with people and sleeping on people's couches. So hair was really my way to take care of myself and to be independent and to be free. I needed people
to refer people.
Yeah, and I needed people to be respectful of the fact that this was my business and this was my livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they wouldn't do that, I hadn't learned how not to take that personally.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it wasn't just you doing that for you. You were attacking me. This is how I saw it.
Yeah,
At
I can
the
see how
time.
you
And
saw
it'd
it
be
that
like,
way.
how dare you?
Yeah.
Like, I will snip all of these, this nylon thread out of your hair and take this weave down. Like,
yeah.
How dare you?
Well,
you don't want to make that one mad.
One thing about me, I started doing hair so young. I was a braider when I was 12. I was braiding in Darlene Burris shop in Ontario. I don't remember what the name of it was, but I was a braider in her shop. And I went from I used to braid at home. Like, once I braided my mom's hair and she went to church, I got a whole full clientele. So I was 12, 13 years old, making $200-$300 a week then.
Mm-hmm.
I took my braid clients. I started cosmetology school when I was 16. I took all my braid clients and turned them into hair clients. And then I started going to their houses doing their hair. I dropped out of cosmetology school then, but I still had a full clientele. I would go to their houses and do their hair. When I turned 18, I went back to cosmetology school to get my license. By then, all those clients started coming to the school, and I went from the school to the shop. So I always had a full clientele. I never had a business card. I never had to solicit clients. I always had a full clientele. And then it grew more from there. Mm-hmm. So the only time I had to build a clientele is when I moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, I did one person, my friend D. She had a post-net in Levine where it was new. People were coming there, moving there. And I was doing her hair. So when they would come in for the post office, they were like, who does your hair? So then I went from doing hair, because I was still coming back and forth.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to work out there. Mm-hmm. Before I knew it, I had 10 ladies sitting up in my house on a Saturday morning until Rodney was like, you got to go. So that's when I got my shop. D, my friend D, made me some cards from Postnet, and she started passing my cards out to everybody that came. I was doing her, and I was doing the manager at Fry's, which was next door to her.
The grocery store or the electronics
grocery store. And it was over with. She had a shortcut. D had a weave.
Yeah.
And I got all my clientele before I knew it. And D said, I'm going to make it to where you're not even going back to California no more. And then I was overwhelmed, but I tell you one thing, I was making
you was making the money. Yeah, you was making the money.
I was making double pay here. I was working 2 days here, doing my full clientele. Mm-hmm. And then I was going home, working the rest of the days.
Yeah, looking back on that, I think Mika and I should have charged you more booth rent. You was working all night long and burning the air and the lights and the water and all of everything. You owe us money, no? Yeah,
all the people that tried to play us talking about, well, we can't let you work 2 days because you're gonna do all of your clients in 2 days, and that's not fair. And anyway,
yeah,
I digress.
But to your point about not letting some of your clients not allowing other people to experience your talents. Mm-hmm. I am somebody who will very cautious of who I share the information with, Not because I don't want somebody's hair to look like mine, because your hair could look like mine, but you're not gonna look like me. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Collar popped.
Because if you go and do wrong to my stylist, now you and I have a problem.
Yeah.
Because then I'm gonna hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I was going to Pepperdine, I told anybody because I knew they weren't gonna drive all the way over here.
At Mike Henry's Barbecue Company, we are passionate about delivering not just the best food, but the best experience. Nestled in the heart of Rancho Cucamonga, our mission is to treat every guest like family, offering mouth-watering barbecue that's slow cooked to perfection and served with a smile. From our tender brisket to our savory ribs, each dish is crafted with love and attention to detail. Our dedicated team goes the extra mile to ensure every visit is memorable, blending friendly, attentive service with a warm, inviting atmosphere. At Mike Henry's Barbecue Company, we don't just serve food, we serve happiness.
People got to pay deposits now before they.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I
they
don't
booking
even
through
be-
apps and the whole nine.
Yeah.
I be telling my
Do you
clients,
book through
don't tell
apps
nobody
now?
I did your hair.
Shawneen,
I don't
do
want
you
no
book
more
through an
clients.
app? Do you even take new
No.
clients?
Sometimes. Sometimes. I want to take them on my terms.
Mhm.
You know, I want to see what you look like. I want to hear where you came from.
So you doing consultations?
I have to. I don't want to, because this is what I don't like. Somebody that doesn't get their hair done and they want to come to me, it's usually going to be a one-time thing. If you're a person that get your hair done, I'll take you. I'll take a regular client.
Sure.
I don't want somebody that hasn't been to the shop in a whole year. Your hair is jacked up. I got to get it back together. You're not going to follow you're not going to, I don't want to deal with that.
No jump offs.
Yeah, I don't want that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't, I was always so stern about everything I did. Every 2 years, I went up on my prices. If you couldn't handle it, I don't know what to tell you. If you wanted something and I knew it wasn't going to work, like you told your clients, I'm not doing that. Now, that came from lessons, because early on in my younger career, I would do whatever.
Yeah.
And then
When I met you, you was doing whatever.
Yeah, back then I was doing it all. And it's like you somebody say they want XYZ and then you give it to them and then they don't like it, but you can hold up the magazine and go, it looked just like the magazine.
Yeah.
I tried to tell you that it wasn't going to translate, but all I was about the money. So if that's what you want, and I had the skill to do it, I'm going to do it. But later on, I didn't have those issues. But there were times when I would just say, no, I'm not doing that.
I lost a lot of clients because they show me something that's completely not gonna look like
Unrealistic.
that. Like your hair is not gonna look like
Your
that.
head
That's not
shape
your
is not
texture.
that.
Your hair texture, all of that, and I
Your
don't want to do
forehead
it
is
because
12
it's
inches long.
it's not gonna
look
be
like that.
it's not gonna be cute.
That bang is
Well, you
never
act
going to
like-
rest.
Yeah, and they be like, "Well, you act like you don't want to do." I don't. I don't.
Yeah,
want
no,
to
I'm
do
not
it.
acting. This is for real. I
And they go
really
somewhere
don't.
else and get it done. So I just be like, I don't want to do it.
See, I don't.
Or I'll tell them it's not going to look like that. I can cut your hair, or they show you a style where it's tapered and it's a ball fade or something, but I don't want to cut that short. Okay, well then it's
That's
not
not
this
the
style.
Then that's not what you want.
Yeah, but this should be another show, Steve.
It is.
This should be another show because
done
we
digressed all the
we
way.
got a
It's
lot
a
of stuff
lot.
to talk about in that.
See, you got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Well,
Oddly
clients,
enough,
it's a commercial. We're gonna turn this into a commercial. No.
oddly enough, I have forgot. As much as I remember a lot of things, I'm known for having this expanded memory. There are things about the hair world with clients that I've completely forgotten. They weren't impactful moments. And so because once I leveled off to a place where I could command the money I wanted, and I had a packed chair all the time, I set the bar for what I was going to do and wasn't going to do. And then remember, 10 years before I retired, I went to short hair only. I went to 3 days a week, and I went to no new clients. I was telling my clients, don't give my car to nobody. Matter of fact,
Well, I do that to some degree.
Yeah.
But sometimes like if I'm busy, I won't take new clients. But sometimes like summertime is slow
Sure,
down.
you have
Then
those ebbs and
I'll
flows.
take I'll take a couple
And
people here and there.
I uniquely, strategically targeted a certain group of women.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no drop off
Oh,
because
okay.
I targeted professional women who worked year round
Mm-hmm.
and had high paying jobs. They could pay my price. They would trust me to do what I do because I was very professional,
Mm-hmm.
and they wasn't raggedy. I just didn't have time for the raggedy stuff. It's just like I don't have time. I got to the point where I didn't want to hear anything melodramatic about your life. I didn't want to hear anymore. I didn't want to counsel no more because more times than not, it was you telling me the same thing over and over and over again. I don't want to hear that. I didn't want to be on the merry-go-round with you. I didn't want. And I'm a compassionate person, but
Mm-hmm.
in the chair, it got to be a nuisance.
Yeah.
I want to do your hair, make it look fly, laugh with you for a little while, send you on out.
So I got kicked out of the chair because I wasn't part of your target audience.
No, baby girl, you got kicked out of my chair because your
You
hair
got
was
too
too
much
long
hair
and too
and too
thick,
thick.
and I was no longer regularly doing hair like yours. That's why I passed you over to Mika, and then when Mika was done doing hair, that's why we passed you
I'm
on
glad y'all didn't
to
pass it to me
some
because
folk.
I'd have been like, no,
You just
no.
got way too much
You
going
got
on.
way too much
And
hair.
I applaud Monet. Monet has done a good job. And what I love most about Monet is that she has listened to my advice about how to handle your hair. A lot of hairstylists have egos and they don't, I know what I'm, no, let me just tell you to make it easier on you and to make my daughter's hair look and feel better. And she's followed that advice. And she's done a great job. And then you into all kind of creative stuff that she do. I was never gonna do all that stuff.
Never.
You wasn't
Monet
going.
be
You'd have been like,
Monet be
"Daddy, can I
Monet.
get?" I mean, remember when they was doing the little twist, and then it just twist a little side. Sure, I could do that, but past that, I wasn't trying to do none of this
Monet be
mess.
trying to get me to do stuff. Shawneen, you go. I'll be like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah,
She be
Monet
like, "Come on,
young.
it's easy. I'm like,
She young. She got
I ain't
that.
doing it.
She
Yeah,
got that young
she
hair
reminds
spirit.
me of myself
Yes.
when I was that age. And
Young.
I would do any style.
Be in there
People
all night doing
I had
stuff.
clients like, I want a finger wave right here with some twists going back right here and the back down. And I'd be like, okay. And I would
Yeah.
do it.
And I never ever wanted those clients.
I would do it.
I never wanted them. But
would
again,
do all of
I
that
think it goes
stuff.
back to something Mika said. I literally got thrusted into a business that I never ever had on my radar. Yes, I just happened to discover that I was a natural at it, but it wasn't something I ever thought about, longed for. So it wasn't a part of my natural DNA to be lasered in and focused in on that world and the fun. Because yes, it was fun. Like I loved doing the shows, but that's because I'm very creative. I love doing theatrical stuff.
I just
So
thought of
so I
something.
love that. But outside of that,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be experimenting all night on your hair. And if it
Oh
don't
my
work out,
God.
now I'm feeling like, oh, that don't look right. And I didn't want to ever send nothing out that didn't look right.
No, I would have. I had this one client. I don't know whatever happened to her. She would come in and she
Here
would
or
literally
Arizona?
out here. She would be like, she had long hair, but she wanted me to weave bangs in her hair because she wanted me to cut them like this. And she had
Oh,
long pieces coming down right here.
she
And
watched
it'd
too
be
many
like
movies.
this. And then she's like, I want you to pull it up. And then she had these hair scrunchies. And she want me to put one of those fake ponytails, like the braid hair ponytails. And she put those scrunchies on and it would stand up like this high.
Like an onion
And then
tower.
the hair would come over like that.
Like an onion
And
tower.
look, I would do it.
From Outback.
I would do it. And she'd be walking out the shop and Sharon would be looking at me like, what is that? That's what she wanted. I did it. She was so happy. She would just come. She came to me all the time and she would always have all these crazy styles and I would do them every time.
Yeah, see, I didn't like experimenting for the fear of failure.
It wasn't an experiment though.
That was an
I
experiment.
would see her creation and I would make it
But it's
happen.
still an experiment.
But it was crazy.
And you were able to do it. You knew you could do it. I didn't like when people. I was so glad when Mika and I started working together because then I never liked weaving. I could do it, but I didn't like doing it. And so because I didn't like doing it, I didn't do it often. So the weaves were not great. They were just okay. Now if I had to just put a track in, I got you.
Uh-huh.
Somebody braid it for me, I'll sew the track in. That's easy. But to do a whole weave, I
Mhm.
was not that guy. So when Mika and I started working together, it was like, oh, thank God. I ain't even got to do that no more. Mika, can
She
I
got
get
all
you
of
for a
that.
minute? I need you to hook this. I wouldn't even do the track. I'm like, Mika, I need you to put this track in for me real quick. Mika would bam, 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 and I'd be done because I could cut it like nobody's business. But I was like,
Mhm.
I don't want to. I never wanted to do that stuff.
But I came up in the era doing hair where all those ponytails cut into stacks and all that stuff was out, and I was able to teach myself how to do that. We didn't have YouTube and people
Yeah,
coming and teach.
sure.
I literally taught myself how to do dookie braids. I taught myself how to make those braids close together.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. I was just I'm a creative person. I can look at something and just figure out how to do it. That's
Mhm.
the part of the business that I like.
And see, I came into the business when short hair was becoming the thing.
Mm.
And because I was under Doris Mosley, shout out to the great Doris Mosley, it led its way to me seeing a path
Mhm.
where, like, okay, I like
That's
that.
a good mentor to have too.
Yeah, and so Doris didn't fool with weaves and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She was people sat in her chair because they wanted to get cut and curled with them sister curls, with them
Mm-hmm.
curls laid all on each other, tweezer curls all the way down. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, okay, yeah, I like that, and I'm good at that. I'll lock into that because
Mm-hmm.
I never saw Doris experimenting on crazy stuff.
Yeah. But I was young and I was just doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
and I had a
yeah.
lot of young
Right.
clients.
You were young, like
Now,
Mika. You guys were kids doing hair. I was not
yeah.
a kid doing hair.
And as I've grown older, that's too much work. I'm not finna do all that and you want to give me $60 to put you a ponytail at the top with a braid around here and it's flipped in the back with some crimps. I'm not doing all that now because now if I did that, it's gonna cost you $500.
That's the number.
That's the number, $500.
That's gonna cost you $500.
See,
So
it's so much talent in here, and y'all. I was watching Barbie doll heads.
I mean, but when I was a teenager, I wasn't even like clipper cutting. I cut one of my eyebrows off with clippers one time when I was 18.
So that's what Blake
Yeah.
got.
You know, it's like I mean, when I was 17, I was like, I wasn't into none of that. It was
Yeah.
like I didn't, and then back then I didn't wear I had a long jerry curl and then a long
Oh, and I was
texturizer
the
and all
queen
that.
of Jerry curls.
Hey, you know
who
the
got
curl
me? I
it's
used to
it's
wrap
back.
curls for Levette.
It's
I
back.
used to wrap Levette's curls. I used to go up there and she'll have 5 curls and I would wrap them curls.
The curl is back,
Boy, I was
Shawneen.
fast.
And
I
I
fast. What is
swear,
it, a Jenny curl?
I swear if
I got some.
I'm almost tempted.
You gonna do a Jerry curl?
I am almost tempted. I would let me tell you something, because now they're getting $250 for the curls. I would do a curl a day, 3 days a week. That'd be me in the shop for 3 hours max. I would do that because you
And
can't. That
I
ain't something I
won't
could
do.
do at home.
I had a client beg me. I had an older client.
Well, a man.
She
Oh,
no,
it
it
was a
was a
woman.
lady. She begged me to do her curl, and I had to go to 4 different beauty salon, beauty shop, supplies to find some curl
Just to get
product. It was a layer of dust on top of it. Like that stuff had been sitting. I
that
was like,
that
is
stuff
it
ain't
gonna
gonna
work?
work.
Is it gonna work? And guess where it's at now? It's on my counter because I'm moving and I'm cleaning everything up. And I was like, I ain't paid almost $100 for this stuff. I ain't throwing it away, but I'm not doing no curls.
Did you do her curl?
Yeah, I did. She passed away, but
Oh.
I did her twice, and then she had a tumor or something.
Oh
but
wow.
yeah,
Yeah, the
she
curl
made
is
me
hot.
that was the only that curl stuff was for her. I wasn't doing nobody else.
It's hot now.
It's
and
a
you know,
Jenny. It's called a Jenny curl or something now, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is for us,
Oh, okay.
but it's whites and Mexicans getting it,
And Asians.
and Asian people getting it now.
Yep.
So they'll
you
pay
don't.
that.
It's
Oh,
and
they
it's
We ain't
less
paying.
time.
$250.
Oh,
Because
$250.
if their hair is already straight, you don't have to do that one process
No,
first.
that take almost an hour
Oh.
off the time. You just wrapping it and
I'm
then
gonna have to check
neutralizing
into
it.
that because
That's
I had set my
That's
mind to
solution.
like I
Yeah,
ain't doing no
solution.
curls.
I
And to
would.
me, it's not the curl when you first get it because it's beautiful then. It's like, our people, they don't want to cut their hair, so it's starting to get over processed at the ends. It's getting long, but it's straight. It's straight at the ends. We need to cut it. Oh no, it's long. I don't want you to cut it. And your face all broke out because you got the stuff all on you. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, they not.
I don't want to do
Yeah.
that.
Well, I'm here for it. If I swear to you, you will see me if it makes its way back into the black salon like it really should. Cause see, here's the thing: most hairstylists that are hairstylists now can't even do it. They be having to start over to even learn how to do it. I could step right into that, like right now. I could do a
Yeah.
curl right now. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
man, 250. 250. Your number's 500. My
Yeah.
number is 250 for a curl.
Now I did. I think I was charging her. That one client I was doing, I was charging her like 120. But it ain't. It ain't hard to do
No,
at all.
no, it's not.
I just don't want to do it. It's just like the smell
Yeah,
and
it's
all
funky.
of that. I just don't want to do it. But you're right.
It's
You got
funky.
somebody come up there with 250. I'll pull that dust, like that dust off the top of that lid. I dust that, the dust off of there. Put it on there. Shoot.
It's a new breed of people though. It's a different generation. It's
Yeah.
not the old ladies.
Nah, they want a nice haircut.
It's people who are like
Trying to
Milan's
reclaim the
age
generation.
and below who don't have that naturally curly hair that everybody's trying to
Mm-hmm.
get.
And I would have to
emulate.
see what that is going to look like in 6 months, or like the touch up is going to look like in, because I'm all about the condition of the hair too. Now, you know how our new growth start coming in and their
Well,
curl hair
yeah.
start breaking off, and especially with the kinky hair.
Well,
So there's stuff like that too. I would have to.
the translation is still different for black hair,
Mm-hmm.
but now more so than ever, even the makeup of black hair has changed. Texture wise, we've got a lot more biracial, multiracial people who still don't have curly hair like they want. I mean, like the Hispanic dudes are getting the Edgar cut and then getting the top curled.
Curl, yeah.
So it's like, oh man, that's $200 right there.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I'm gonna have to check into it, because I will say that I don't keep up on the fad stuff.
Yeah.
Because I do have an older clientele.
And
a
the
simple
product,
clientele.
the product selection is different. Can you imagine like I feel like before we were kind of limited. We would buy our products from like the Asian beauty supply and we would stick to black products. We have all kind of stuff to take care of somebody's hair. Like so you imagine how you could keep a curl in better condition.
No more Afro G's.
Right.
Or DRC,
just
Dudley
gonna-
Reconstructor.
We are
Which one
way
number the
more
Afro G?
Well, you know what?
informed.
They coming up with new stuff that's really the old stuff.
Well,
That's
sure,
how I look at
sure.
it. Yeah, you just remade it, put another name on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
but the
that's
hair
one
is different.
thing.
The hair is different and the process is different in terms of like if you have a black person's hair, they say they want a curl, but what if their texture of hair is like Milan's? You don't even have to break it down. Her hair is thick, but her hair is not super kinky. So you don't have to break it down, but you still got to break it down. But if you have another black person whose hair is not like Milan's and it's straighter, you don't have to break their hair down at all. You just skip that process, go to the curl process. Mika was saying earlier, we were talking about it today or yesterday, you would probably have to do those sections of rolling thinner to keep it tighter for new growth purposes. New growth, you don't want it all puffy. But even then, they're not going to want to wear a greasy curl because that's not the look. The Hispanics and the whites and even the Asians that are wearing it, they're not wearing it greasy looking. Yeah, they're wearing it natural looking. So
but they probably can wear it.
Well,
looking better than a
if you skip the thio process,
because that's what needs the moisture.
That's the part that craves the moisture. But there are other ways around it. Think about this. Think about if you were wearing a curl, black person, and instead of using activator, you use something like a silk protein leave-in every day, because that's what the thio makes the hair crave.
Okay.
It gets starved of protein
And I guess
and
I never tried it,
and
so I wouldn't
keratin.
know.
That's
Yeah.
really what it gets starved of.
Yeah.
We think it's moisture, so we get gel, we get curl activator. But what it really is keratin and protein. And a silk keratin protein leave-in that you could use daily, and then use gel, styling gel, instead of activator. You would have the look you want without it being greasy. Or a mousse.
Non-alcohol based mousse.
Yep, but undergirded by a leave-in conditioner,
Yeah.
that curl will look beautiful.
Well, I need y'all to try it out. Let me know how it goes.
We don't do hair no more.
I ain't gonna go through all
You
that.
need to try to look. You need to find a client and then you just call us and get us on the speaker. Like,
'Cause then
okay,
the products-
what should we do?
The products probably cost $200, like that Brazilian blowout.
But see, the Brazilian
product-
blowout was still a chemical. There was still a chemical,
But what I'm
a
saying, a lot of
thiochemical
people-
involved.
A lot of
Actually,
people use that. That product is like $200.
but that ain't what they're doing. We're talking about a curly perm.
No, but what I'm saying, the product costs a lot.
Yeah, but curly perm's product is not expensive. It never was. It still isn't.
So you're just using a regular curly
That's
perm
all you're
that
using.
You're
That's
not
it.
using this new
You're
stuff
not
that they
because
making to do
Brazilian
it.
blowouts and all that stuff
Oh.
is a chemically based treatment. You don't need that. That's what people were doing to get the hair straight.
Okay.
They're trying to pull the curl out.
I was just comparing the price that they charge for the stuff. So I'm thinking,
sure.
You charge for it.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
Going after a different clientele.
I know, but he was saying
Yeah.
experiment with it. It costs too much to experiment. That
Experiment.
particular
Gotcha.
product costs too much to experiment with it.
Yeah,
But if I'm buying an $8 box of
of
perm,
yeah, Permawave
sticky perm,
or Joico or whatever, because all of them got one.
yeah.
Shoot. And look, I am not complaining about where my life is financially at the moment, but you let things get tight. I swear for God and all 12 of the disciples, I will get back to the salon, but only thing I will do is cut and curls. That's it. I'm like, can I get a fade and get some color? Absolutely not. But you can get a fade and get this curl up there.
Just curly.
You can get this curl.
perm.
I mean, because the last curl that I did, that's what I was doing. I don't know if you remember my client who wore the glasses, she would get the tapered fade, and I would I would relax her hair around the sides so that it looked more natural because her hair texture was a little frizzy, and then I would do the curl on the top. It was like $85. Thank you. That was all I was. It took me a half hour to roll the top of her head.
Yeah, I have a client.
I
It
love
takes me
it.
20 minutes to do.
I want it. I'll step back in there for that. And then it'll be like, people will be like, hey, Steve, I heard you back in the shop. Can I get an appointment for a relaxer? And how'd you get my number? Well, you didn't change your number. It's the same number. Look, it's the same number you've been had. I seen your video on Instagram. You back in the shop doing curls. I want to get a hair. Who is this? You see my name came up on the ID. I don't know who you are. Get off my phone.
I'll be getting text messages. Can I get an appointment? If your name don't come up in my phone, I'll be like, who is this? Like, I don't even do hair. Who is this? Can I get a appointment on Friday? Your name ain't in my phone. I mean, you're not a client.
Yeah. So that's great. That's all good. I want to transition now. Back to something that I want to finish.
I'm gonna need something else to drink. We're gonna talk for another hour.
No, we're not talking
Okay.
another hour. We running at. Oh yeah, we about to hit 2 hours right now.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah, it does. When you're having just conversation with people you like, it's always good. So Shawneen, I think it's time that you really give some real consideration to online dating. I know it's been something that's not been a thing you wanted to really engage, but from all that we've talked about over the years since you and Rodney were separated, and then since he died, you've been on a vicious cycle, and I know you've done some work. There have been some things about you that have changed. So my advice, if you were calling me and said, Steve, give me some advice about what to do about my dating life, I would simply say, try online dating because you are different in some respects. You're still the same you, but
Mhm.
there's some things about you that have healed, that have matured, um, and there's some things about you that deserve you taking a chance in another way. Um, that online dating may be a cool thing. Here's a fun fact for you. When I met Milan's mother, we met at the salon, but before I met her, I was just dating, which was weird for me because I wasn't a dater per se.
Mhm.
Um, and when I was a player, I didn't take girls on dates. I would just hang out with them. But when I was in a relationship, that's when I would date the person I was in a relationship with. But before I met her, I had said, you know what? I read an article. I was just sitting at the salon one day and I'm reading this article, and it said the average person marries someone that's been in within a 16 block radius of where they have lived and congregated most of their lives.
Mhm.
And I said, wow, 16 blocks is not very big.
No, it's not.
That's just a neighborhood.
That's Pomona.
That's not even Pomona. That's just
Centown.
Sintown.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or Ghost Town or the islands.
Yeah.
That's just one of those. And I was like, man, I don't want to be that guy. Because for me, we moved around a lot.
Mhm.
So my 16 block would have been virtual. It wouldn't have been real. It would have been me circling in the same groups that I had been circling in for the real relationships. Relationships that I had with women that was more intense were repeat relationships.
Mhm.
I would find myself back with some of the same people all the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start dating. And in dating is how I ended up dating Milan's mom, because that it wasn't in my system to meet her in another organic way because I was used to doing things differently.
Mhm.
And so and while our marriage didn't work, we have the most amazing relationship now, which is it's like if I could have gotten that and known that I was going to get that, I would have settled for that and not married her. But the
Then
relationship
you wouldn't have
is
your
amazing.
beautiful
That's not
niece.
true.
Oh.
One thing does not mean the other. Two things can be true at the same time. I was God's man, but I was still a man. so whatever, call it what you want. But the point I'm making is I got some information that literally caused me to make a physical change in how I was dating. And it was
Okay.
weird. It was uncomfortable because I was dating. Here's what was interesting. I was dating strangers. I didn't like dating strangers. I like
Mm.
if you knew her and me and you was friends, I'm gonna mess with her.
I
But
think
if
that's
I don't know neither one of y'all, I'm like, I would now when I'm playing, I would get at both of y'all because I'm just playing. I know I have no intention on anything of any real depth happening between either one of us. But when I was looking for relationships,
Mhm.
I only felt safe in relationships with people that I knew
I
or had a
feel
connection
I
to.
feel that way sometimes.
But in order to do that now, you have to be willing to experiment a little bit. And I think online dating would be you
That kind of
experimenting.
experimenting.
It is an experiment. It's an experiment.
Mhm.
And it can be fun. You know, I mean, you know, Milan has been in a successful relationship with the same guy for the last 4 or 5, almost 5 years.
Mhm.
But and then you know, obviously we talked earlier, you have people who have been in successful relationships through online dating, and then you
Yeah,
have people who have
marriages.
had nightmares
Yeah.
but that's the same without online dating. Before there was ever a such thing as online dating, we had success and nightmares.
Yeah.
Now, to me, online dating gives people who, I said this earlier about people, especially men who are a little bit more skittish, a little bit more apprehensive. Some men don't have the confidence. I think of the movie Hitch, one of my favorite movies.
Mhm.
That movie was built around the premise of men who needed help getting to the woman.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. A lot of men don't know how to approach the woman that they're interested in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
sometimes those are the guys that get overlooked.
they do. Well, first of
Yeah.
all, they usually they're not the aesthetic package. Um, they may not be the financial package, but I've already clearly debunked all of that. The guy could be loaded and be an asshole,
Mhm.
or he can be a really great guy who's had some hard challenges in life. And so there's a reason why he has a 500 credit score, but it has no reflection on his character. Because there's some guys who have 800 credit scores who are terrible. They
Mhm.
just are anal about paying their bills on time, but
Mhm.
they're not anal about treating a woman right. And so, but those guys are more confident because they do have the credit score, or they may have the physique, or they may have the look, they may have a car. So they're more confident just, stepping up to anybody.
Mhm.
But a guy who, I knew a guy who, he said to me once, it was weird. He's like, yeah, man, that's my dream car right there. And I said, a Dodge Challenger? Really? He said, yeah. When I get, my next job, I'm gonna get me one of those. And I said, well, I hate to tell you this, but the car you driving now cost as much as that car. He didn't know. He was like, really? Because he saw the car and associated it with a symbol and status. And he's seen a certain type of guy driving that car. Usually it's muscle boys or real pretty boys or groomed men, because it's a flashy big sports car. But the truth of the matter is that Honda Civic that he was driving, that was the fully loaded Honda Civic, cost more than that Challenger and had more value, but he didn't know that. And when I told him that, he was like, really? I said, bro, you could go get that car today with your credit and your job and the fact that you're driving this car. You could go get that car today. He didn't know. There are a lot of men like that. They're apprehensive about moving forward in life because they themselves don't fit the profile. And that's why I challenge people all the time about when they say, well, I want a man that looks like this, or I want to, well, okay, what does the man look like you got now?
Crickets.
Oh, that's right. You don't have one. Exactly. And then what
Yeah,
about
you
the
don't wanna
man who
miss
says, well,
out.
I want a woman that looks like this. And then you don't fit that profile he got for her.
Yeah.
He missing out on a good woman. And you're like, boy, I'm the best woman you would ever meet. Yeah, but I'm looking for, her to wear a size 2 or whatever. And, this, that. It's like that. All of that stuff is fleeting. And so because of that, some men are very, very apprehensive, especially now. We're at an all-time premium in society on glamour.
Yeah.
We was in the mall earlier today and saw a man getting his eyebrows threaded. We in a real hot. I mean, hey, right now the biggest cosmetology boom is not hairstyles, barbering. These fools are making a killing because men have all of a sudden become extremely vain about their look.
And they
They
hundreds
paying
of
hundreds of
dollars
dollars.
getting
I saw a
haircuts
video
and
on
beards.
Instagram today. This guy, his wife paid $300 for him to have I'm gonna call it a barber experience.
Yes. Well, first of all, I'm not touching no man's feet.
No, it was head only.
Yeah, because they're doing the whole thing. They're doing the feet, and they're doing the facial and the neck and all. I'm not doing none of that.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is that's the society we live in now. So, but there are a lot of men. That's why you'll find a lot of men online dating. A lot of men are not online dating because they just looking for ways to come up on getting them the next piece. No, they're on there because they don't fit the typical build of the man that's popular now, who's able to just get a woman because he walk in the room. So they don't know what to do. They're not the guy that's arching his eyebrows. They're not the guy who should be getting his hair cut regularly, but doesn't, because he just doesn't know. Well, hey, brother, you need to keep a regular barber appointment. Your hairline is like a wild beast. Those men just don't know. They're good guys. They just don't know.
Yeah, and then I'm afraid that I will miss out on the good guy because I'm like, he hasn't got a haircut in it. I'm like, oh my
Like, you
God,
wolf.
he has hair all the way down his back.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, if
Yeah.
it's attached from hairline to shoulder, that's a whole other thing. You know, that's what's gonna be.
Yeah, and then you
At least you're gonna
and
stay
I
warm
do.
at
It
night.
makes me think like, okay, am I gonna miss out because I'm so concerned about these little things that I'm gonna miss out on a good person. You know,
Yeah,
I worry about that because I do.
you
I get
should, and you
affected.
should, because and then it's an unfair expectation. You know, you mentioned earlier, you know, that you're more whole, and I kind of push back. Well, none of us are completely whole, even down to physically.
Hmm.
None of us. I don't care if the guy is ripped. There's
It's
still
something.
something about him
Hmm.
that he doesn't even like.
Hmm.
I don't care if the girl has the hourglass shape that she didn't pay for. There's something about her that even she doesn't like. And I can find something wrong with her if
Hmm.
I look at her. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, well, you know, her left toe bigger than the right.
Yeah.
And I tell her that, it's going to mess her up for the rest of the day. So there's something, none of us have the complete package.
Hmm.
Now, people say, "Well, you have a right you know, you got to be attracted to somebody." Yes, you do, but how long will it just be physical attraction?
Yeah, but you can be attracted. Now, I can be attracted, in my own personal opinion, I can be attracted to someone outside of the looks. It could be personality,
Yeah,
it could be the swag, or it could be the laugh, or something like that. Yeah, I can be attracted to
right,
that. I mean, and not and overlook um the physical attraction,
sure,
like to a certain extent.
yeah. I mean, I get
I
that.
mean, ain't
And
nobody
that's
want
fair.
no, you know what I'm saying. You ain't going for the, you know.
There are some boogers. There are some boogers who are happily married,
Oh yeah,
and they're not
absolutely.
all married to boogers either.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know
I
some.
don't
I
know.
know some.
There,
I don't like
booger
that.
booger wolves. There's some.
Just like it's some
Whoops.
it's women that are all sizes, all shapes and sizes, and we are thinking every woman that got a nice shape and stuff, half of them ain't got no man.
Nope.
So,
That's why they keep
it
wearing
really
little
not.
clothes, because they
Yeah,
still trying to
it's just
advertise
trying
because
to
they ain't
sound.
got no man. You know, it's like
Yeah,
we
so I never let, because I know I'm not the the perfect shape and all that, but I'm confident,
sure. Oh yeah,
and I love myself
yeah,
first. So, you don't put off that. And if a man is attracted to that and that's what he wants, then he ain't the man for me anyway.
right. But that, and
So
that's the more all the more reason why I say give online dating a chance, because
mhm,
there are some real gems online who just don't know another way. They are so afraid of rejection, and we live in a society of falsity. I mean, we got people using filters as profile pictures.
yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it if you want to do that for a day, but come on now. You can't leave that up for 3, 4 months.
Red
You
flag
selling a
behavior.
lie. That is not what you look like.
Yeah.
And people do that, and next thing you know, we got people who go, well, I can't even, I wouldn't even know what to say to her. So I'll go online because it's safer online. And there's just some opportunities there, I think, for you to explore, to at least explore. They'll be different for you because you have been used to navigating in familiar pools.
Mhm.
And my thing is, I say to you, what is it? How's that worked out?
It hasn't. It
So
hasn't worked out.
it's time to get out that pool altogether. Like, yeah, it's time for me to get in a different pool where I can
Well, I
see the
mean,
water.
I've met some good people, but it's still that dynamic of going back to the chasing when we're talking about, is it someone that's really coming after you? Are they seeking to get to know you better? Are they
Yeah,
seeking to hang out with you? That's what I'm asking for, not necessarily me trying to make plans. Hey, let's go out. I don't want to do that. I want someone to pursue me. And I know there's a lot of men that say, well, I'm not going to chase a woman. I want a woman that's going to pursue me. And
yeah,
I'm just like, I don't want it to go that way. In my story, I don't want it to go that way. I want them to show some interest. Now, I don't have a problem with saying, you want to go somewhere this weekend or something like that.
sure.
But
But that's mutuality.
you
That
just
means you
want
got a
some you
connection with
just
that
want
person.
someone to show some interest, because I don't want to just keep pushing it, pushing because I feel like I like you, or I'm interested in you, and I'm always the one, and you're not giving that back, then I'm gonna leave it alone.
And then you keep rotating the roster.
Yeah, you go
And then
back
I
to
go
what's
to
comfortable.
No, you rotate the
Oh,
roster.
yeah, you
oh,
giving
you
the
get
advice now.
somebody else,
Yeah.
Hey, he not giving enough attention. Okay,
so you go to
next.
the next one.
And the hierarchy, it shifts. It can shift on a day-to-day basis. Oh, you really done messed up today. Back of the line.
So is our generation now? That's how it was in the beginning when I first started dating. Because now, keep in mind, I have never dated.
Yeah, no,
Never.
you were with the same person since you
So
were a
I
child.
and when I got out there, it was like I was this, I was cute. I had the heels on, the skirts, and I was dressed up every day.
Yeah,
And
I
I
remember
was
seeing you. I
going,
thought you were smoking crack.
I was going.
You lost so much weight. I was like, good Lord, she looks like a crackhead. Jesus, what happened to Shawneen?
I wanted attention. That's what I wanted. And I went places where
You
I
could
would
get
get
it. Yeah.
attention. And so that was my thing. So I had, like she said, a roster. Everybody that tried to talk to me, I was getting numbers, and it was genuine. I was just talking.
Yeah.
And I would have literally like 7, 8 different phone calls a day.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? But I didn't know what to do with them. I wasn't
Yeah.
I wasn't in a place where I knew how to maneuver them. I wasn't thinking about it. Wasn't They weren't asking me on dates and stuff like that.
And
It was weird.
it was uncharted territory for you.
Yeah, it was weird, and I didn't know how to maneuver it. And then that's how I started getting myself in trouble. Well, not wasn't
Yeah, because
trouble,
then you
but
started
I started
selling into
seeking
relationships that
exactly
weren't good for you.
that weren't good for me, and I just started dipping into that, and then that started leading into the unhappiness. Like, okay, like you're weird. Like, I don't want to deal with you no more, or like what is that? And just hopping around
Mm-hmm.
until I got to that place of, okay, Shawnee, you need to be healed.
Yeah, yeah.
You tripping.
So see, now you have all this experience. An experience after healing versus experience before healing can easily be translated to knowledge and wisdom. Before, it's just experience. You're just going to class.
Yeah, and I
And
feel that way.
now you've graduated to another level. You can reach back with some of that and apply it to where you're headed.
And I can do that for myself. But then I still come to the question, what is everybody else looking for? What are these men looking for now? Because I've never dated a 55 or 60-year-old man. Never dated him. May have gotten into a situationship with him, but I never dated him.
Right.
And so when you do that, but you're also selling yourself short because you're stopping yourself because you're managing other people's reactions to the dating field right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just hop in it.
Yeah.
And if they don't swipe on you or they don't reach out to you, whichever one we put you on to,
okay.
The broker.
Then it's instant. Either you match or you don't. Boom.
Okay.
And then you can make a decision. It goes at your pace. So you can talk on there for as long as you like. They don't have any of your information of how to contact you, blah, 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 blah. We already said you're going to get you an online name, which you already have one.
Now, are these older guys?
Yeah, we're not going to put you on BLK, that trash app. Trash app, tried it.
Does that stand for something?
So I think it's supposed
Black
to be
Lives
black.
Kill? BLK, what is that?
I think it's just supposed to be black.
Oh, okay.
Well, that app should not exist anymore. But we're gonna put you somewhere where like Plenty of Fish or Coffee Meets Bagel, which is where one of my bosses met her husband.
Coffee Meets Bagel.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
So and then you feel them. You have multiple pages going at the same time, all the same information. That's also how you can weed people out if they have multiple profiles and the information don't match.
Oh, if it
Yeah, there's
doesn't
some
match.
safeguards.
Because I was gonna say, won't I have multiple
Yes, but
Oh.
your information will be the
the
same.
same? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's on this side he's 6'1", and this side he's
He's
5.
5'6".
Yeah, and this side he weighed 225, and this one he's 180. Like you lying.
And there's filters. You can set filters for the type, some of the like the fill-ins that they give you, options of things you can add to your profile that you don't just type in. So it's like you're seeing some of the stuff that you're looking for, but also stuff that you might not have looked for.
Okay.
And radius. That's helpful too.
Radius as in distance.
Yes.
Yeah, he
So
needs to be living out here, not in Arizona. I don't want nobody stopping by.
You can do that. Like when I was at Pepperdine, my radius, my location was never at Pepperdine. Because I didn't want to see my classmate. I didn't want to see my friend. And I didn't need them seeing me.
Yeah.
Because not a safe place. So I put it for home so that I was getting people out here and not out there. So you can do it like that. You can set age ranges, so it'll show you profiles of age ranges that you're looking for, and then you just get to swiping.
Yeah.
And you can never make a mistake on swiping, because if you swipe and then they reach out to you and the first thing they say is something crazy stupid, block.
Baby, what you over there doing? You looking
Yeah,
up BLK?
I remember that. I think some of the guys would send messages and some of the words would be spelled wrong. And I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, okay, but see, you can't do that.
But
Because
did.
I am highly educated and extremely articulate. And on any given day with auto text, I can mess up a word.
Especially that swipe to text.
You have to consider those things. You
Yes,
can mess up a
but
word.
if you're trying to spell can't,
You can mess up a
and
word.
you spell it CAINT.
You could.
This
I can't tell you how many times I have mistyped a word or hit space and it appropriated to another word, and I'll look back later. Oh,
Another word, but the other word at least is spelled right.
But it might not
no,
be.
'Cause your
Shawneen,
phone-
I'm
your phone
telling you.
corrects it.
No, not all the time. It either corrects
All
or
right, I
it'll
won't do
accept
that.
what you thumb dial it, and you may have hit a letter that was next to the letter. Especially me, I have big hands. When I'm texting, I have to go back often, and I don't always do it. I don't always correct. I hit send if I'm moving, and then I'll go, oh Lord,
Like
what
a
did I
text
say?
message, but I'm talking about like a profile or something like that, and they spelling word. Okay, I won't.
Yeah, you
nitpick.
can't
I won't nitpick.
because they that's easy to that's like the wet towel on the bed.
And what if English is not their first language? English is the hardest language to
Did
learn.
not what?
What if English
Didn't
is not
I
their
tell
first
you
language?
Oh
about
yeah,
the
see
accent?
you ain't
They don't have
listening.
an accent.
I
They
can't do
don't
the
have-
accents.
Oh my god.
Can't do the accents.
He gotta be American.
He has
can
to
be
speak.
Eduardo's American.
Does he
English
have an
not his first
accent?
No, he doesn't have an
Oh.
accent, but English is not his first language.
Okay.
But I mean, he's got to be American.
So you want a white man?
No, Black American.
Oh.
We're gonna work on it. We just gonna
Yeah.
work on
So
it.
we are against, like, we are not going to date a white man.
Have you ever dated a white man?
I haven't dated anybody.
We're not going to date a white
Outside
man.
of black.
We're not
I
going
haven't
to
dated
date
anybody.
Oh no, you've dated.
I
Yeah, you
have
went on a
been-
date
I
with
went-
on a dude on a motorcycle.
Oh,
You've
I
dated.
went on dates, but
You've-
it wasn't. I wasn't dating them.
No, but you went on dates.
Yeah,
But you've never
yeah.
gone on a date with a white man.
Never.
You've never gone on a date with anything other than black. Okay, see, that's another conversation to have. Are you open
and would you
to that?
consider? Yes.
Yeah, but it would have to be.
Somebody without an accent.
Somebody who speaks the King's English, not the Queen's English.
No, can't even speak the King's English because they got accents.
No, the King's
Yeah,
English.
they can't have like that.
Trump is the king, so it's be the King's English.
Take that part out.
Come on now.
Edit that out. Edit that out.
We don't talk about the
I didn't say he was my king. I just say he was the king.
No, we don't
No,
talk about
I would be open to date different races or
Okay.
ethnicities or however you.
So then that's
Speak the
something
right
else
thing.
that can be set up in the filters.
Mm-hmm.
And see, now that's the other thing. For a black woman to say, I am open to outside ethnic groups, that opens up a whole other world because you all are still the most sought after women in the world. Everybody wants to look like you. Everybody wants their butts like you. Everybody wants their lips like you. Everybody wants their skin like yours. They just don't want your lived experience. so because of that, you're still coveted. Men still look at you and go, "Oh, she's beautiful," So, and I don't have a problem with it, because if a brother is just not stepping up to the plate, and a man that's a non-black man wants to show a woman love and all that, I'm cool with that. I do have some
I
personal
prefer
preferences about all that, but that's neither
I
here nor
prefer
there.
a black man,
Yeah.
but I would not say that I wouldn't date outside of my race.
We'll look at that.
There you
Yeah.
go. So Milan gonna hook you up. Gonna get you a profile set up, and she gonna hook you up. She's on it. She got some free time right now because she ain't got no job yet, but it's coming.
Child.
Come on, Lord, hear us. and you guys can explore that, because you could you don't have anything to lose by exploring it.
Yeah.
And that, that's all it is too. You don't have anything to lose by exploring it. And it can be fun. It can be real fun. You'll probably find yourself calling us going, "Y'all not gonna believe this." I've been talking to this guy for weeks. We still haven't met yet, and he's not in a rush to meet, but we're talking and texting and calling and all that good stuff. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Well, now that we've gotten that business straight, Milan is the new online dating agent.
250 though.
Mika, 250 or 500.
500.
Mika is the consultant for consciousness. She wants to make sure that we are being true and that we're considering all things as we should, and not allowing ourselves to be shallow to just what he or she looks like, or what they're or how they spell, because here's the thing, even if he spells incorrectly and it's not unintentional, he just doesn't know how to spell, that can be fixed.
Hey, don't get me started. He
Come
could be
on.
dyslexic,
That could be, all that can be fixed.
I'll diagnose him.
and it may
She'll
not.
fix him.
And if he go to work, and if he go to work every day
Child,
and pay his
talk about
bills
it.
and know how to
Talk
take care of
about
you,
it.
misspell
Talk about
can't
it.
whenever you
That's
want.
right.
CANITIT.
Come on, we'll
Kaniti.
play. Let's start playing Scrabble together. What you,
Right.
Come on.
Be arguing, that's a word. No, baby, that is not. Let me show you in the dictionary. I'm like, oh, all this time I've been saying knit, and that ain't it. No, baby, it's why you didn't tell me sooner? Because we wasn't close enough for me to correct you yet.
OMG.
So anyway,
Oh, my
thank you,
goodness.
sis. I think that this is all worked out.
Those would be the kind of men that I could not take home to my children.
Right?
Look,
My
your children are
kids.
grown. Let your children worry
My
about
kids
their
be
own
like,
business.
He
Tell them to
does
stay
too.
out of your
Did you
business.
see how he spelled that word?
Just ask your kids how you spell narcissist, and then we'll be done with it.
And you be 90. Did you see how I spelled that word? I ain't going on no date.
Right. Was he nice?
Just gonna be by
Yeah.
myself, huh? Be
But
by
he
yourself,
couldn't
girl.
spell. He
Yes,
spelled. I told him that how you spell is SPEL. You're like, oh, I get
Oh,
it
my
now.
goodness.
It's all coming together.
Yeah,
So anyway, people are yawning,
I'm yawning and
and
stuff.
it's we've talked a lot. We've talked about dating, and we've talked about advice for single people, and we talked about the journey of the creative hairstylist Shawneen, and a journey that Mika and I have shared with her, a journey that I seem to have forgotten all about. I'm liable to start telling people, no, I wasn't no hairstylist. That was somebody else. Right. It's like, and it's been a fluid conversation about all things life and how life can interrupt us. Shawneen was interrupted by the death of her husband, even though they were separated. Still, that was a major interruption. she's been interrupted by herself and some areas of brokenness that needed to be healed and worked on. So life continues to interrupt us all the time. That's what it does. But we keep on living because we want to die empty. We want to leave it all on the table. And for my sister, maybe dating online will be dying empty. She might find her real boo in the digital world.
Somebody to chop me up and leave me empty.
Oh my God. There's no hope. There's no hope.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Yeah, because the guys that she meets would never do that.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
So this is Life Interrupts Us. This is my family. My lovely wife Mika on the mic, my lovely daughter Milan on the mic. Milan, the online dating curator.
Yes.
And
I curate experiences.
we're gonna say goodnight. Or good day, depending on where you're at. We out of here. You take care of yourself. Y'all be good.